Sorry, my mic is muted. I apologize. Welcome to another edition of Sports Report After Dark. I am your host, Seven. My faithful companion and hetero life mate, Dan the Dick Werner, will be with us in just a moment. I do want to start everything off here, though, by giving a special shout out to our sponsor, Gunslinger Soap. GunslingerSoap.com. Handmade soaps and beard oils made without all of the junk to pamper your skin. You can go to their website, gunslingersoap.com, and sign up to get 15% off of your first order and always free shipping. That's gunslingersoap.com. Activated charcoal soaps, handmade beard oils, very great stuff. Been using the soap for years. Just started using beard oil recently. Great product. So let me bring in my colleague and the hair to my sphincter, Dan the Dick Werner. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Starting the show without my mic muted. Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, you're such a dick. You know that?
No. Tony, I love you, buddy. Hey, it's a good thing I have these sunglasses on because that was the nicest thing anybody's ever said about me. What was the heterosexual life mate? Yeah, that was
hetero life mate. Yeah. Hetero life mate. You are the J to my silent Bob. Only neither one of us can shut the fuck up.
Right.
Just a heads up to those of you that are watching, maybe you are new to the show. We are very explicit. We say what we want. We will not speak anything ill against any marginalized groups. Most of the time anyway.
What? But you mean all of the marginalized groups? We will
all of them.
Talk about all of them equally.
We don't discriminate. We are assholes to everybody. But we like to focus on the human side of sports. And so we like to take the topics that maybe get glossed over or don't get the true breakdown they deserve because people don't take them seriously. And so tonight we are going to dive into a few different things. For those of you that are watching and also catching the Field of Dreams game, right now it is in the top of the eighth and the Cubs are up 4-2. And I did want to start with the Field of Dreams game because this has become very quickly my favorite thing that the MLB does every year. For those of you that don't know, the Major League Baseball has started a game every year at the Field of Dreams field in Dyersville, Iowa. They do not play on the same field that is that is left the way it should be. They build a fully functioning stadium, seats about 10,000.
Beautiful.
And it comes up just for the game and then gets taken back down right in the middle of a cornfield. They cut a couple of shapes in. Like this year, they have the Cubs and Reds logos both in the corn, but definitely
right down the street.
I would say
it's where they hold a game.
I'll say you're only a couple hours away, aren't you?
Right. Yeah. Right. About 2.5. Yeah. It's in Iowa, which is a little bit north, but still, yeah, pretty close. Same shit.
It is.
It's.
I was start of the game, they had some corn shucking contests. They were kind of throwing corn around a little while. I kind of thought about you. I thought that was kind of cultural appreciation for Nebraska citizens and residents to be throwing their most important export around,
Right. Yes. Those fields though do look exactly like here. It's crazy. That's actually how they look.
Yeah,
they're very uniform about it, and more it sells. Go ahead.
Because they use those field and actually grow corn, and they just cut out what they need, and because those cornfields are owned by the museum, and that's actually a revenue source for them. So part of what the league reimburses them for is the corn that they have to pull out for that.
Right. And make no mistake, Tony, there's never actually corn growing there. Like these fields are taken care of year round. Like that thing is fucking beautiful, dude. Like it's a monument at this point. Kind of, right?
And I think it kind of has to be,
I don't think
really when you look at it. Well, no, they do, but they hand plant some stuff. But yeah, there's actual corn grown in those fields.
No, I know there's actual corn grown in there, but I'm saying on the field though, the actual field of play where the grass is at, there's no fucking corn ever grown there. Those guys just are taking perfect care of that grass.
Well, no, actually, it's sod. They bring in sod every year for it. That's what they did last year and this year.
So they're actually switching it out the rest of the year. I mean, I guess that makes sense because it's only one day a year. So
it's up for a few days because yesterday, and they did this last year as well. The finals of a 14U tournament were played on that field yesterday. Yeah. It was the 14U teams that are backed by the Reds and the Cubs. I'm sorry. But I mean, they put a lot of money into it. The Field of Dreams museum and location thing there, they get a lot of money out of it, which is probably a large portion of their funding now. Because I would imagine because of COVID, they took a huge hit.
And they're making a ton of money off that. It's not like absolutely. That lease is cheap. Like, I mean, because they did kind of make it like kind of a monument now. So like it's an MLB park, but like an alternate one, basically.
Yeah, because they just build it every year. So
right, that's crazy.
Yeah, the work that they put into it, though. Go ahead.
I got 160 acres down here. They're up here. Let's just start that trend. We're the Field of Dreams, but it's not really. It's just it's the Field of Dreams replica. We just built the same thing. Like that's
3 hours away.
Guys. Yeah, that's copyright. You guys. Like clearly, we're
call it not the Field of Dreams,
but no, they won't care. Yeah, they won't care though because nobody's gonna play here. Like like we don't have MLB game every year. They got us killed. No.
No, I mean, you set it up and maybe instead you do a football stadium that's in memory of back when Nebraska had a good football team or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. In the late 90s, baby.
Was there ever was Nebraska ever the center of a football movie?
I do not believe so because I would have obviously.
I was saying because I can't remember anything.
No, there's documentaries. Tommy Lee, dude, went to Nebraska for his show on MTV, and he tried out for the band, and that was the thing because they have a really good band. Apparently, I went there and I don't know anything about them. No, the band's like really serious about it, and Tommy Lee went there.
Nebraska's marching band.
Yeah, yes, and especially for games, obviously. But like, Tommy Lee fucking went there, and you knew about that?
No, what was this?
Tommy Lee had a show where he went to Nebraska. Like it was basically about Tommy Lee going back to college or like going to college. Cause I doubt Tommy Lee went to college. I actually know he didn't, I don't think, but
I don't think he did.
He goes to Nebraska, enrolls at Nebraska and like takes classes and everything and like parties with like the college. You haven't never seen this before. It was a terrible show, but like, it's so terrible. It's good. But yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
I have to find that.
That was the thing. And it didn't run for very long because I think they like, it was fucked up. Like he's literally just partying with college chicks the whole time. And like, I think they might've like cut it off like because of that. Cause it probably got it did get real weird at points.
He gave hepatitis to half of that college. Like absolutely. There's no way he didn't.
None of the, when I lived there, none of the dudes would, nobody from UNL. We don't know if Tommy Lee's been there. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, we just don't know. But yeah, he was in a show, dude. And he just tries out for the band and like, his whole thing is like he's quad toms, quad toms, right?
Yeah,
right. Tony, the quad toms. Anthony, no, but yeah, he just goes and tries out for the fucking quad toms at Nebraska and talks about how it's really fucking hard and shit. But yeah, that was an actual show. So I guess that's the closest thing.
Yeah. Quad toms are, man, that's some work. You've got to really put work in because that is,
dude.
I have respect.
I think he almost doesn't make it, dude. Or I think they like literally just put him in as an honorary like member. I'm not even joking. Like I don't think he made it because he never played quad toms in his life for one. But yeah, obviously he's a fucking trap player, so like it's
right.
But he was like talking about how he's like, dude, this is for fucking, and that was the drama of the show was like that.
How hard it was.
He might not have made it, yeah, because he was trying out the whole time, basically.
It's
crazy.
Quad toms are hard, bro. Like super fucking hard.
Yeah. It's basically just like filling on a trap set the entire time. You're just
the whole time
you're just filling. That's what I'm most closely compared to. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. And shout out to Tommy Lee's penis who spent more time on Facebook today than me saying a comment that I could defend myself if I was sexually assaulted.
Yes, 100%.
And he will probably get banned for less time than I did for that comment. So, good job, Facebook.
Dude, did you see the show? Did you see the show? What was it on? HBO or something? I can't remember. But anyway, Tommy Lee and Pamela, it was called Pam and Tommy Lee.
About the sex tape?
FX was what it was. It was American,
it was on FX.
Yeah, story.
American Crime Stories or something like that.
Yeah. That show was awesome.
No, and it was awesome. And I still have a hard time believing that wasn't leaked, because that did so much for both of their careers.
Absolutely. I think Tommy Lee probably. That's the story. I love how they made it like the fairy tale story, because that is the fairy tale story of what happened in that.
It's gotta be, yeah.
And they make Tommy Lee out to be like a fucking, like, almost likable, like she says in the show. Like she says, like, oh, he comes off almost likable, and it's like, who wrote this? And I think they might have been doing it like satirically, not even joking. Like they were like, this is what happened, because it's such an unbelievable story.
It is such an unbelievable story. And that's what I struggle with that story, man, is because, like, and of course I have to take a second to imagine if, that is really the case. They did not release the videos. Somebody found it and leaked it, whatever. I can accept that that's possible, but I have a hard time believing it, because, for people that may not remember, at this point when the Pamela and Tommy Lee sex tape came out, sex tapes getting leaked was a career revival, and people that it was happening intentionally on a semi-regular basis.
Any publicity is good publicity.
Exactly, because this was back in the late 90s, early 2000s when that still applied.
Right.
And I also think about the fact, because, like, you can go to any of those basic adult sites, Pornhub, Xhamster, Xvideos, whatever.
Right.
I've got a list of 20 of them that I use in rotation, but you won't talk about all of them. No.
Keep it fresh.
Yeah, you got to mix it up. Just because it's the same video doesn't mean watching it on a different site doesn't make it different.
Sure. Different resolutions can change the game. It can change the game.
It can.
Especially when you got to be rewatching them. Can you imagine the guys in the 90s, bro? Like, getting that tape? Because that's what they did. That's how you watched pornography, is like videotapes, like VHSs that you had to like take to a fucking video store and like return, or like buy straight out. And these motherfuckers were just rewinding the shit out of it so it doesn't work eventually, right? I mean, just fucking with the film. Anyway, yeah. That show was awesome, though. They did a great job. Sorry, we were talking about the Field of Dreams at the beginning of that, by the way.
Right. Yeah, we got sidetracked. No, but one of the, and like with last year's Field of Dreams, the opening was just so fucking iconic. Like, it was that, like, I'm pretty sure that was the most watched regular season of last year, most watched regular season game of last year, and one of the most watched in like a decade. Like, it was the viewership numbers on that game were fucking ridiculous. And then of course it ends in the storied fashion with Tim Anderson and the walk-off in the bottom of the ninth, stealing it, the White Sox stealing it from the Yankees.
Right.
There was 8 homers in that game last year, dude. I didn't realize it was that many, but they were talking about it. I was watching the pre-show. I was like, there was
bunch of solo shots.
8. Yeah.
Bunch of solo shots. And the coolest part about it was they go into corn.
Right.
Most of the time. So like, it's, what I'm saying? And the fence is like, obviously like the see-through, like Little League fence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the cage and everything.
Yeah. You can see, like, even if you turn on the game now and you show it, like, and you're watching the different shots, they do a great job. Like, you can see in the, okay. You can see in the shots when you can see the outfield that corn backs right up to the outfield fence. And they were talking during the broadcast about the fact that when they were doing BP earlier today, like, they were just sending him out there, and they said they would probably there was enough balls that flew out there, they'd probably be finding baseballs in that corn for a decade. Go ahead.
Right. No, I was just saying it's relatively short, or like regular though, dimensions wise, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like, let me see if they show a shot of true center field. It's standard dimensions. It's a standard size field. I know that I've seen stuff out there like I think like right center and left center are both like 380 ish. And so deep center is probably 410, somewhere in there. So yeah, it's pretty standard.
And it's like the shape is standard too, which I think
yeah.
Do you think that like you watched the intro of this year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I missed it. So like, how would you have like?
It's and this is kind of one of those things I honestly wanted to talk about. It's because there's no way you can top what they did last year. because there was so much, it wasn't just about the anticipation. Nobody knew what to expect. And with the standards that people have for Major League Baseball on a regular basis being, pretty low, honestly, because of the fact that the league doesn't know their ass from a hole in the ground more often than not. The issue that you run into is that you have these, you have that bar set so high. So this year it was a lot simpler, but the way that they opened it, because last year Kevin Costner came out of the field first,
right,
and then all the players came out, stuff like that. This year, Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr. came out together, and then Junior says to and they were both mic'd up, so the stadium could hear it stuff. Junior says to Senior, says, "Hey, Dad, you want to have a catch?" And they started playing catch, and then there's kids and family members of the players came out of the corn, and they all started playing catch. And some of the legends and stuff came out, and they were all kind of playing catch. And then the players came in through the corn. They had a really nice tribute for Ray Liotta as well.
Wow.
That was dubbed by Kevin Costner himself. It was good. I have not seen, and I may have missed it because I was working when the game started, so I was a little in and out. But I didn't see Kevin Costner there this year. Which he's,
busy doing those asshole movie star things. just busy being a movie star asshole. I mean,
busy being a dick.
Just busy being a dick all day. That's what he does. That's what he does.
But Johnny Bench has been talked to a lot today. Great dude. I love Johnny Bench. Definitely GOAT catcher in my mind.
Really?
And absolutely.
GOAT catcher.
Johnny Bench, GOAT. Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's and here's the thing you have to remember when it comes to playing catcher is there's so much more than just, they're the only guys that's watching the game from home plate like the batter.
Oh, bro, catchers are fucking, they play like quarterback in an old school football system. So where the running back's more important. Obviously the pitcher's more important, like the running back, but at that time it was they're still the quarterback. Yeah. They're the ones who get the ball for really the whole defense.
And so in the way that he handled his business, if you go back and you actually watch Johnny Bench footage, that dude was insane. I'm not going to take away from some of the greats from a more modern day, like Mike Piazza was a great fucking catcher.
Yes.
And definitely in my top 5. And I think in most people's top 5, he should be. But Johnny Bench is the GOAT catcher.
Bro, I have to go. He might be playing still right now. Yadier Molina might be the greatest catcher that's ever lived.
And here's the thing. I will entertain arguments on Yadi and Mike Piazza.
That's about it, though. I was trying to think. Seriously. Pudge Rodriguez, Ivan Rodriguez, is one of my favorites of all time. I think that he's got to be up there at this point.
I think he's in the upper part of the top 5, 4 or 5.
Dude, he went. I'll look at his stats. He was hitting 30 and 100 and hitting 305 for 4 or 5 year stretch at some point. And that's hard for a catcher because they're like running backs.
Yeah, his prime was just ridiculous. He had some of the stupidest numbers, and it's and there's people that you say Pudge Rodriguez or Ivan Rodriguez are who? No, that dude was ridiculous.
Yeah, he was super and just went about his numbers, dude. Or went about his business for real.
Yeah.
Lot like Yachty.
Yeah. And
Johnny Bench.
And I think that's the thing is, and Piazza was the same way. When those guys step on the field, that's their field. It's not the pitcher's field, it's their field.
Absolutely.
And, they call the pitches, they direct the infielders.
They
signal the outfielders.
Right. And the interesting part about that, Tony, is they're actually in control of all of the pitchers, basically. Most of the time, one dude pretty much catches for everybody, right? Most of the time. And like, so they actually have like, that's so coaching like you have play, you know what I'm saying? Because they have to individually coach people. Like a lot of people don't realize that. I don't think like they're in unison calling a game together. Like it's not just the pitcher out there just like, yeah, I'm just throwing whatever I want and hopefully he gets in front of it. Like, no, these guys are like coordinating it like very carefully, like the whole time.
Right. I mean, and the depth of working with some of these pitchers, because like they were talking about it today on the pre-show for or no, it was early in the game in the Field of Dreams game. But the reason Yu Darvish doesn't like using PitchCom is because he's got he's got 11 different pitches that he can throw.
And how's he supposed to fucking like they're gonna have to go 1 to 11 at that point? Like it's gonna have to be one. Yeah.
And they don't have enough buttons on PitchCom to cover all of the combinations of what he throws.
Wow.
You know, and so imagine as a catcher, that's just one of your pitchers.
Right. They're all quirky as shit too. They're all just weird.
Every pitcher is, yeah.
They're psychologists is basically what they are. They're like sports psychologists that are playing. Like they're so much more than managers too, because they have to deal with all of those different guys some of whom are fucking nutso. If you watch, like they're fucking creatures of habit. We just talked about this like 2 weeks ago, but just creatures of habit, like a motherfucker, dude. Like weird. Like you don't want to. Oh, it's because the unwritten rules thing. We're talking about the unwritten rules of baseball and how you don't fuck with somebody's or was it like run over the foul lines or whatever.
You don't run over the foul lines. You don't talk to a pitcher when they're throwing a no-hitter.
Don't run over the pitcher's mound was one of them, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were like they're setting up weird shit. Like they have their like fucking heel in the ground and like in some spot and like they're just doing a routine and they're like, motherfucking stepped in my hole. Like, they got to go out there and dig it back. It's ridiculous. Yeah, but they're nuts. So these guys are handling all of those dudes at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, and an interesting thing. You know, there's a role in a baseball team. It's not a rostered position, but it pays about $250,000 a year. It's a bullpen catcher. Your bullpen catcher is a pitching coach that is actually catching from the pitcher and directing him.
I did not know that, Tony. You are just dropping knowledge tonight.
That is, and that was an interesting thing that I learned because it's like most teams, it's like between $250,000 and $300,000 a year. And your job
what a gig,
right? You don't play, you really don't even have to train outside of making sure you can throw the damn ball 60 feet 6 inches.
You just get the shit beat out of you, like probably sometimes 2-3 times a night. I'm just kidding. No, your hand gets the shit beat out of it.
Yeah, your hand takes a beating every night, and they also like their body. And obviously, you know, it's a bit of a stretch to say there's not any training because they go through almost the same amount of body wear and tear that a starting catcher does because of how much time they spend in the squat warming pitchers up. Because you're getting 20 to 30 warm up pitches from.
I'd say more, dude.
You know, 50. 20, 30.
No,
50,
I'm saying.
What do you mean?
I'm saying like they get beat up probably more than the starting catcher does, like physically, because think about games that go like 13 innings, dude. There's like 7 pitchers. Like that dude's catching all those dudes coming into the game. Like there's constantly dude up in the pen. So they're throwing way more than 100 pitches, right? But
especially from the 5th inning on, you're pretty consistently, you know, sometimes even earlier if it's a bad game and your bullpen's going to get called on. Like the earlier you call in your bullpen, the quicker you're starting to put that wear and tear on your bullpen catcher's body.
Right. And granted, you have like foul tips, dudes coming around with their swing and hit like, you know, and you have to field your position obviously still too. Like you're in the game. So like the pressure's obviously higher and shit like that. But like just body, like those dudes fucking probably are just back there blocking balls the whole time. Cause you know, those guys warming up just aren't even like sometimes there's, and then, but if you listen to them or like you go stand at a game over the bullpen, these dudes are throwing fucking hard, bro. Like they are they get to the point where they're going to throw a pitch in a game for like a while. Like they're completely warmed up. Like they're just throwing fucking hard pitches. And that would be fucking intense, dude. Like that's a crazy job. Your reliever, most relievers, they want you at about 20 to 30 pitches a game. Less if you're a closer. Like Craig Kimbrell, you know, he is a dynamite lockdown. He's a closer, right? Right.
If Craig Kimbrell has to throw more than 20 pitches in a game, the pitching coach is pissed.
Yeah.
unless it's a knockdown situation where they need it and he's in and he's all right with moving on like that, where, sometimes he'll go 25, 30 pitches, but for a closer like that, no, because all of that warm up is ramping up to that 100 miles an hour that you're going to see for 20 pitches, and their body is trained to hold that
intensity on every pitch. Yeah.
On that intensity on every pitch, but it's trained for 20, 25, 30 pitches max. You get over that and you're starting to put yourself at risk.
Aroldis Chapman would be a good example of exactly what you're talking about. Mariano, obviously Craig Kimbrell would be a good example. Do you know who isn't a closer but kind of does the same thing? Liam Hendricks is he is a closer now. Badass setup. Oh, he is a closer. He got his closing job in
last year. Yeah, Chicago.
Yeah, well, the White Sox. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. But yeah, that dude's nasty. That dude's fucking nasty, dude. And like his stuff's just like he doesn't go over 3 pitches in at bats, dude. You're either striking the fuck out or like it's a, you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna make contact within 3 pitches because if he ain't fucking around, and they're coming around like he's throwing in the strike zone the whole time, and he's just going, you guys just can't fucking hit this shit, dude. Like it's intense.
Hendricks is a prime example of he puts an emphasis on location, because he knows the heat's going to be there, but and that's one of his things. But the other piece with Hendricks is he dots it. Hendricks doesn't miss very often.
It's almost like he points it, like he darts it. Like when he finishes, it's like he's like darting the ball basically, which is crazy if you think about it. But like he's that good.
His fastball is like that that's exactly what it looks like. Is it's like a dart, and just right in there.
Do you know who I was really impressed with the other night too on that same subject? Adam Wainwright. Did you watch that game?
Is such a beast, man.
That dude is fucking crazy, dude. Like I don't think I've ever seen him pitch. I've seen him in highlights, obviously, but I don't think I've ever seen like just an Adam Wainwright start, which is crazy because he's made more starts than anybody active in Major League Baseball right now. Like I haven't seen one. That's not a good NL team, whatever. But like, fucking St. Louis. No, swept the Yankees. I'm fucking kind of sad. But
I'm
location,
proud of him, man. That's an achievement. That doesn't happen.
They're good. I said on Sports Report like a month ago. You actually kind of scoffed at it. I think you were like, "Well, they're like not," and I was like, "Because they weren't at the time." And I was like, and then you were like, "Oh yeah, I guess they are." And I was like, "Yeah, dude, they're fucking legit, bro." Like I know you're a Goldschmidt fan, and like,
oh yeah,
dude, the St. Louis Cardinals are legit. I'm just like, I'll let everybody know that right now. Adam Wainwright, his control though. Sorry, his control though is fucking like. Dude, I think at some point they were like, I don't know if they were doing the pitch comm, like you could hear it or something, but like he was just, you could tell where he wanted to throw the ball and it was within an inch or two every single time. And I was like, dude, that's so crazy that it was within an inch. And I'd be like,
he dots it.
That's
dots it, man.
He has to. He has no velocity left at all.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is when you get up there, and it's kind of like what Greg Maddux used to say, it's about, location.
Right. What was that Maddox quote where he's like, I'm giving you
throwing when I'm when I'm down in the game, I don't think about throwing harder. I think about location, except for that motherfucker, Tony Gwynn.
Right. Yeah. It just doesn't matter. Yep. Another Maddox quote. He said, what was his pitch? Is like a sinker, wasn't it? He threw like a really nasty sinker. No, that's Mariano Rivera.
That was Rivera. I think it was a fastball and then
it was like
I think it was a two-seam. It was a two-seam.
It was a two-seamer. Yeah. He said, he's like, you don't have to guess what's coming. He goes, I'll tell you what's coming. It's a two-seamer. And he's like, and it's wherever I want it. Is the Greg Maddox quote. And I was like, dude, that dude's a badass, bro. Some of his quotes, he looks like the guy who wouldn't be quotable at all. Like he looks like an accountant. And then you hear some of his quotes. That dude was a dog.
He had that dog in him. And I think it's one of the reasons why I respect the hell out of him so much is because he knew he was good. And once he got to that point, like, it was just like, yeah, that's what it is. And it wasn't, he wasn't a dick about it. It was a matter of fact thing. He was one of the best.
You could tell that he was internally driven, basically. Like he was just internally driven to just do. He didn't give a fuck what you thought about it. That's what he was going to do. And like, those are the greatest athletes of all time. Those guys that have that mindset. They're just like, I don't fucking give a shit. I'm just, because they're not doing it for you.
No.
Do you know what I'm saying? They're not doing it for you. Like, that's the best part, is like, they're doing it for themselves. 100%. They don't care about any of that shit that's past it. Those are the greatest of all time, dude. When there's a GOAT, it's almost always that personality. If you look at it.
I think it's a mentality thing, because, you know, it's just like, you know, with our show, you know, we talk about the importance, you know, the whole athletes are people too thing, you know, and there is a certain kind of mentality it takes to be in that we'll call it S tier or God tier level of athlete in any sport. That mentality of or anything really, because like Prince had the same mentality, and you're going to be hard pressed to find somebody that knew what to do with a guitar better than Prince.
Almost all successful people,
exactly, you know,
including in sports, and so that dog mentality is so crucial to being at that level, because there are so many influences and so many things that are flying at you from different directions, and a normal person would not be able to handle all the noise. And when I say successful people, I obviously mean successful in a fame money type situation. You know, I don't want to sound like, oh, successful people, because you have to have, but most people who work to the top of their perspective occupations are usually the same way.
Yeah.
When you agree. Yeah. I mean, okay. So yeah, but people who work to the top of like business level sports, you know, things that, you know, where there's basis to it, are usually like that. They're just doing it for them because they're doing it when you're not looking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's because you get to a point where, you know, you can self-evaluate and you know enough about where you're at to know what you did wrong. You know, I've been insurance for 5 years. I can get done with a customer and tell you exactly everything I did wrong on that call before quality ever touches it.
Right. And that's just preparedness, basically. Or just focus, really.
Focus, right. And like, and so like in my work, I'm considered a compliance expert, or compliance, what they call compliance SME. So people that are struggling with compliance issues, which is really fucking important when you sell insurance.
So many of them do too, don't they?
And
so many of them do too.
I'll get agents that are really, really good, but they don't do everything that they're supposed to. And so they're still facing losing their license because they didn't tell something to a customer. And now the Department of Insurance is involved because it caused a problem. And so, you know, we're fighting while the company is fighting with the Department of Insurance to get the, you know, for the person to be able to keep their license. It falls on me sometimes. There's other people in my department to do it, but I'm one of them.
To settle the score,
to write the shit.
You're the closer,
and you know, I'm the closer. It's like,
Tony, you're an occupational closer.
I am an occupational closer.
They call me the closer.
Help you get it right, you're fucked.
I'm gonna make you up some cards, some business cards. It's gonna have your company name on everything, and your name. It's gonna be like, but in bone, it's gonna be bone. That's gonna be the you know, the material, and I'm gonna pick out the certain font. No, and it's gonna say the closer on the, just in quotations, the closer, and you just hand it to people randomly, like, hey, Anthony Gladstone, the closer.
The closer.
There's like, is this guy serious right now?
Oh yeah.
Call me.
Watch. Just
get insurance. I know.
And then I close the door. See, I'm the closer.
The closer. Watch how much.
Imagine what I could do with insurance.
I just make them and just start sending them to random people. Like, I'm like, these are good insurance. They're. I start sending to people, like people. You just get a bunch of business. Like, yes, you're welcome. The closer, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. That's the fucking pick on the card. Just. It's like, I don't know. I trust this guy. I feel like I should get insurance from him. It's just gonna be. It's in bone with raised braille lettering.
With raised braille lettering.
Just real nice cards.
Yeah, cheesy smile and Oakley's. What could go wrong? I'm not in a fraternity house, so these things aren't a red flag.
Just the closer. Anthony Gladstone. You just walk around frat parties. The closer. Tony's getting laid tonight. Just passing out the closer cards. This is
dude,
it's serious.
When I was in a fraternity when I was in college, man, like I love how there was always this misconception about what it was like at a Greek party, when really like 90% of the girls were walking around in pajama pants, spaghetti strap shirts. They didn't give a fuck.
No,
and they were bigger assholes than the frat guys were. We just wanted to play beer pong and drink. Like the girls were the ones that were being assholes.
I 100% agree, because I was also in a fraternity, and I it does get a stigma. Like it's like, oh, frat dude. Like I'm like, bro, like no, it's not like, it's really not like that. Like we
just hung out with each other with extra steps. That's really what it was.
It wasn't even that much. Like we partied a lot, but it's literally just like we were just hanging out, drinking a lot of beer and smoking a bunch of weed. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't really like, parties happened. It's a party every night. It's just like you're just hanging out and drinking beers.
It was literally just, we
party right now. We're partying right now.
Adults go to the bar with their friends on Friday and Saturday and have a couple of drinks and de-stress from the week. We went to somebody's house and played beer pong and burned through half a dozen 30-packs. Like,
bro, Doane College is a wet campus. It's a wet campus. So you can literally just fucking have alcohol on campus.
Oh, I lived in the freshman dorms. So true story.
Have it?
No, I lived in the freshman dorms. So at Mo West, the way that it was, so Mo West is a dry campus anyway.
Yeah, I got kicked out. I'm actually banned from Mo West campus. I can never go back to Mo West campus ever again. So just to preface your story.
So Mo West is dry campus. So going to college, and we had a tradition where we would, there was one night where all the pledges got hammered. Big brother babysat them, make sure they didn't go to jail, make sure they made it home safe. But otherwise, it was to see what your limit was.
Right.
It's
actually,
that was the closest I got to hazing. But it was really just, they wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to turn into a piece of shit when I got hammered. But I had a babysitter. They made sure I had water. They made sure I ate. And they made sure I got home. I was fine. I was fine.
Did you have like an initiation? Was it like an initiation week?
We didn't get, not really. Like yes and no. Like there was the week of, we had a lot of stuff that we did leading up to the induction ceremony, but I didn't get hazed at all. There was one thing that some of the guys did with the branding, like we'd brand our symbol on the inside
voluntary.
Of our arm. But it was voluntary. Yeah, and I didn't do it, but just like with the other guys that didn't do it, eventually it will be tattooed on the inside of my arm. Because that was my plan. Like I didn't want to do branding. I have anxiety issues. I see it, I freak out, somebody gets hurt. I'll pay $200 to go get it tattooed on the inside of my arm.
That's
because
yeah. So that's basically what you do. So that's it. It's a brand. It's essentially what it is.
It's a brand with different steps, and I have ADHD, so when that rhythmic needle starts going, I go to sleep.
I kind of do too. Like I've almost snapped. I
did fall asleep. On this one, I did fall asleep. Yeah.
It's not that bad.
The first tattoo at 18, little flash art cross with flames around it. Like, I mean, you can do a lot worse.
That's a queer tattoo. That's a queer tattoo.
But, it was an interesting thing. Like I didn't get hazed, and we were very adamant about that because, it was one of those things. And I've never understood hazing in any organization really, because these people need to want to be around you. And anytime there is actual hazing that goes on, somebody will take it too far. It's an inevitable part of the process.
Absolutely.
And so if you don't haze, you don't have that fucking problem.
You don't. And here's the thing though. I had an initiation week. Like there was 7 days where they call it Hell Week. And literally all they do is you just go to, it's like springing Marine boot camp on somebody is basically all it is. Like not for near as long, for 1 week, like
making them run everywhere.
Like, you have to stay in a dorm, like all together. Like it's literally like fucking, it's just, I think they actually took the basis from Marines, like from Marine boot camp, but it's only for 7 days.
That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. And
it's just running and like fucking, that's really what it is. It's just basically Marine boot camp.
And in my experience, if you're going to have a couple of things that are a tradition in that kind of a sense, as long as everybody understands that, like if somebody's like, look, I've got to stop. Okay.
Yeah, dude.
That's
I mean,
it.
we signed waivers and shit. Like we signed waivers and shit. Like there was like it said like, you know, like they had responsibilities as well. It's literally basically it was like military boot camp. So I can mostly we like literally fucking the yelling, you have to sir, yes, sir, all that shit. Like
We didn't
but
even have that.
But basically you like during the school day, you can obviously like talk in class and shit. Like they don't care about that stuff. But like outside of that, literally you like basically, you're in boot camp.
It's we didn't even have that. Like there was ceremonies that we did the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, the weekend that we were initiated. But it was more just about really being brought into the fold and the other pieces that were actually organizational, as far as like the fraternity,
right?
And like the Saturday night ceremony, I got my nickname. Did you ever see the show Coach?
No.
Okay, so my nickname, my fraternity nickname was Dauber, and if you ever watch the show Coach, the character Dauber was mentally slow and said, and was kind of he was there for comedic relief,
right?
But his timing was he would say the wrong shit at the worst possible time. Well, for those of you that don't know me on a personal level, that's my fucking superpower.
Makes a whole lot of sense. I get it. Smart guys.
He said, I remember when my big brother said that my name was Dauber at the ceremony, I started laughing because I knew exactly why.
Absolutely. And like, hey, Tony, we might be talking about one of the best mental health tools for young men at that time in their lives. Honestly, think about that. It's a support group is all it is, right? But it's like a support group in like a still manly kind of way. Essentially.
Here's the thing. And this is a true story. And one of the reasons why I don't have a problem with social Greek organizations, because like there's a big networking piece. Like I still talk to a lot of my brothers. It has benefited me multiple times. I have helped some of them with different things. Like there's true value in networking. And that's one of the most important things you should take away from college is the networking.
I felt like, I mean, after that, I think kind of the point of the boot camp thing is like so that you feel like brothers with the people that you're going through it with, because
exactly
you're together all the time. That's basically all it is. Like that's what the Marines did.
And like for me, it was, you know, I was, because of everything that I went through as a kid and as a teen, I had 2 male friends that and only one of them was somebody that I would actually talk to. The rest of my friends were all female. So when I would date chicks, they would find out that, you know, if I had 10 friends, 8, 9 of them were female, and it made them uncomfortable,
right?
Because they had to wonder, you know, of course we were all fucking horny at that age. It was nonstop. And so you have to wonder everybody's intentions. And
of course.
And I understood it. Now I'm definitely a firm believer that people of different genders can have a legitimate friendship if they want to, but
absolutely.
There are people that don't know how to do that, and so they don't trust it. And I respect that difference of opinion. But my fraternity brothers, those were the first time I actually had a bond with anybody that was male in my entire life. And Those were the first guys that I truly trusted, because there were moments where I needed them and they were there for me.
That's what's got to happen, obviously. And if you're a good one, so like that's great. You know, go ahead. Sorry.
And we, you know, we had each other's back. There was a guy that was struggling in school and with his mental health, and we were all worried about him, and we helped him get on his feet and you know, and start to feel like he had a purpose again, because he was suicidal. And there is, you know, and my other show, First Generation Dad, talks a lot about mental health and men's mental health and stuff like that, because we don't have enough conversations about the importance of men's mental health. And that's why I'm a big supporter of Greek organizations, because as long as they do it right, especially guys like me, this gives you the ability to develop those relationships and really get the ability to learn how to be around guys.
Right. And understand that they actually have problems and emotions like you do as well. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so not set like, and just the shared experience of it.
Oh, wow. Hold on. I am so sorry to everybody that's been watching. I we've had people commenting and I wasn't getting anything.
They're just
Will, you cannot get shades because between the shade and that big ass forehead you have, the glare would just be untouchable.
Well, you look like a you look like a biracial Thanos in your profile picture. Look at you just got the goatee and everything.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was a positive experience for me because it was really the first thing that reinforced that, and that was actually a stepping stone for me in my mental health with that. So big supporter of Greek organizations. But okay, so final score of the Field of Dreams game: 42 Chicago Cubs over the Cincinnati Reds.
God, such a shitty matchup. That's why I was like not excited about it.
And I think that the numbers are going to be dramatically lower this year because of that. Because last year, the White Sox and the Yankees, those were two competitive teams. And that was a very competitive matchup.
Yeah.
The Cubs and the Reds have both had a very difficult season performance-wise. And so what you end up seeing is, the 3 of the 4 runs that the Cubs scored were in the first inning.
And then just the rest of it was just garbage because they need to fix that for real. They need to not schedule it that early because like they should schedule like 2 weeks before it. You know what I'm saying? Like
there's a lot of stuff that like because
they travel and shit.
It's not just about the travel. The other piece of it is they pre-record certain things before it runs on the game day.
Right.
And some of the ads and stuff like that, like they'll try to get that done in the off season or like right before during spring training, whatever.
Interesting.
And if you don't know who's going to be in the game, I think if you were going to truly use the Field of Dreams game for what it should be used for,
no ads,
All-Star game
or the All-Star. That's what we've talked about that. That's what I was going to say. Why would you not? That's perfect.
It's perfect. It is literally perfect because can you imagine? And I get, with the home run derby, kind of wanting to be able to, have it in different parks because different parks, the ball flies differently. And I get that, but give me an equalizer. And
right.
That field in Dyersville, that's a very old school park for the most part. And
right.
So
it's like the control in an experiment.
Exactly. It is more control. And so you give me that field with the All-Stars, and then you also, and it's a lot easier to also do those other things that you want to do, like the
celebrity game that they play,
the celebrity game,
which apparently gets a ton of the celebrity home run derby and the All-Star game get crazy ratings. Did you know that? I've watched it a couple of times, but like they just get crazy ratings, like almost more than the All-Star game.
And well, the home run derby typically gets more ratings in the game,
right?
But I mean, chicks dig the long ball. We all
chicks dig the long ball,
and so it's. But I feel like the All-Star game, because it's a lot easier to make it more of a spectacle, because and it adds an incentive to the All-Star game because there's guys that just don't want to go, don't want to play, stuff like that. If the Field of Dreams game is the All-Star game,
yep,
there's gonna be a hell of a lot more interest.
And just fucking, it'll just be like just pageantry the entire time. Like if you want to put your name out or you want to get like bigger as an athlete star kind of thing, that's it's just so good for it. They can do special features. They might even put you in the goddamn intro. Who knows? If you're good enough. No, I mean, but that's incentive for the players.
And so that's why I feel like from a fan standpoint, that makes the most sense because like the other thing you have to think of is this series between the game between the Cubs and the Reds, this was a home game for the Reds. So had it not been at the Field of Dreams, it would have been in Candlestick Park. So now both of those teams, they get to spend a couple of minutes with their family after the game tonight, and then they're back onto a plane to go to Cincinnati so that they can play tomorrow.
Yeah. Like they're not doing much after that. There's a lot of sleeping on planes.
and when you look at what the Reds have gone through, because they were kind of showing like all the travel and stuff that the teams have gone through in the last week to get to Dyersville. And the Reds flew in to Iowa this morning from Miami. You know how much toll that is?
I was going to say,
from Miami to Iowa, and then now you're going to go to Cincinnati next in 24 hours time.
So another example for the fucking All-Star game, because that's actually planned, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you get elected, that's a good thing. And like you're already like they set a break for it. So like you're on break, but like if you made the All-Star game, that's a good thing because you guys have bonuses in your contract, etc. Obviously your team would be doing good. That'd be a plus. Or they could not be. Or you could be Benintendi this year. Just be out there like, oh, the Royals, hey.
And then
I just like
3
to talk
weeks
shit.
Later, he's in pinstripes.
Yeah, he went from last.
He wanted to get him out of Kansas City so bad.
That really went 0 to 60. And you could tell, dude. You could tell he got 0 to 60. He got a little whiplash. He went 1 for 30.
Whit Merrifield gets traded from Kansas City, and he was one of the ones that sat out when they had those 10 players that had to sit out when they went to Toronto. Whit Merrifield went to Toronto, so that means Whit Merrifield also got the shot so that he didn't have to play baseball in Kansas City.
100%. He was like, you know what? My health or playing here. I don't know. So I'm going to go not playing here. Whit was just done with it. He was like, hey, this is the sixth rebuild that I've seen. When are you guys actually going to build the actual structure? Because this is the sixth one. Like I play with more AAA guys than an actual dude who plays in AAA.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's and that's the thing. And, and of course there is some elite talent on that team, but at the same time, it's like, with the results that they've had on such an unfortunately consistent basis, especially, 2014 and 2015, those were the best 2 years for the Royals since the mid 80s.
And that was a roll of the dice.
That was
they rolled the dice and fucking won is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
That was the gamble of the sports decade.
And
was the 2015 Royals.
And you have to appreciate those 2 years because in 2014 they made it to the World Series and lost to the Mets. And if you look up teams that lose in the World Series, their records the next year aren't that great because they have a World Series hangover too.
They're kicking themselves for like a while about it. Like, oh shit, man, I can never fucking get there again.
that's the baseball player's dream, the Fall Classic. And so now you take, but if you take the Midsummer Classic, make it an All-Star game, I think that makes it one hell of an experience for those players. And it also gives the players that go the ability to enjoy the experience more than these guys get to because they got to play tomorrow. They don't get to do very much.
Right.
And like the Reds, they landed in Iowa and they made it to the stadium at 1:00 this afternoon for a game that started at 7 local time. Like 6 or 7 local time. What? 3-4 hours? You're just going through your normal daily routines for a game at that point. You don't have time to do anything else.
Nothing. Because I mean, literally, like with the plane and getting off the plane and fucking taking the buses or whatever you're looking at an hour at least. What I'm saying? Like they got to go in the middle of fucking Iowa, dude. I don't even know. Okay, so
27. It's a 27-minute drive from the airport. Because they talk about it.
So they fly into Omaha,
Dubuque.
Really interesting.
Yeah,
smaller.
And the teams all have private planes, so it's closer. Dubuque is closer.
Where's it at in Iowa?
So Dyersville is about 30 minutes away from Dubuque.
Like geographically, like southwest,
middle of the state.
Oh, like right in the middle. Oh, okay. Yeah, Omaha's like Des Moines. Sorry, I thought it was by Des Moines, but
no. Yeah, it's actually closer to Dubuque. But
not Des Moines, but
not Des Moines. Yeah, no, it's Iowa. So like you can see halfway across the state from one side anyway. You could probably be in Des Moines on the edge of town with some binoculars and catch most of the game.
Okay, so which one is the one right across from Omaha?
Council Bluff.
Council Bluffs, Iowa. I'm sorry. Yeah, Des Moines.
Yeah, okay. Des Moines is more towards the middle of the state in the lower. It's still in the lower third, but it's more towards the center of the state.
Right.
Dubuque is north of that. If
gotcha.
I remember,
so it's like right in the fucking middle, dude.
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised that entire place just isn't fucking cornfield. Like just the entire state.
Well, I mean, Dyersville is a small town, but what's even more interesting is the town of Dyersville is so small that the population of Dyersville more than doubles while this is going on.
Yes, like Memorial.
Mm-hmm.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
The actual capacity of the entire state?
No.
Okay.
The city, Dyersville.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, Dyersville.
So they only did that because that was the original Field of Dreams field, then, like
where
that's where the movie, the whole thing there.
Yeah, that's where everything was filmed. The house is still there, the field is still there, everything, and it's basically just like a, it's kind of a museum tourist trap type scenario.
I went to the Twister Museum in Oklahoma. Same thing. That was what it originally probably was.
That's a thing.
The Twister Museum, yeah. For the movie Twister.
I love that movie too. My mom and I watched the shit out of that movie.
Yeah,
Bill Paxton is a genius, man.
Alicia and I went to it in Oklahoma. It was awesome. And like the water tower, the fucking the people's house, you have to like drive to it. I don't even know if we actually saw that because it was like closed down or something. But like, yeah, it's basically like this town is tiny, dude. It's got like one corner with like there's no stoplights in the entire town. There's like a post office, and then there's this Twister Museum.
That's
ridiculous. It was awesome. Dorothy was there. The actual one from the movie is in the first room, right when you walk in. You can actually like touch the little balls that they, you know what I'm saying, like the ones that went up in the air. And then the dude stole it from and made cube ones, but the circle ones from the original were actually in the thing. Pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah,
it was. And there was like a.
Do you remember who played that guy that was his rival? Do you remember who it was?
Fuck, dude, no.
Carrie Ellis.
Really, from
Princess Bride, Robin Hood Men in Tights.
It is, isn't it? The weirdest thing is he seems kind of like a comedian the whole time. Like you're like, that dude's not.
You can see it there. Like dude if you look at it, you're like, he's waiting to just quip something that's just going to completely change that movie from a drama to a comedy.
100%. Like, can you imagine if they just would have changed it right in the middle? Like they just make him serious for like 3/4 of the whole thing, and then at the end of it, he just like starts saying ridiculous shit. They're like, oh, it's a comedy now. Be the greatest movie of all time.
He turns into Philip C. Hoffman character's best friend, and they're fucking jamming to Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, just like ridiculous shit. Smoking weed and fucking like, hey, we're gonna catch this Twister, and they're like chasing it and stuff. Oh yeah, dude. It'd have been like this is. I would have been like, this movie has just gone from great to fucking legendary.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, but yeah, overall, I think this year obviously wasn't as big of a spectacle as last year, but I think a lot of that comes from the, it's hard to top what they had already done. You kind of know what to expect a little bit more now. They have a lot of references to the movie and stuff like that. And
stop that shit for one, MLB. Like
people
like that movie, but I'm not like checking out Field of Dreams every like 3 months.
No, they do it respectfully at least, and then they kind of reference like one of the things that so last year, because like in the movie, they talk about Moonlight Graham, right? He got to play for half an inning, never got to bat.
Tony, can I miss something to you on live radio right now?
What's that?
I've never seen the movie The Field of Dreams. I don't think I've ever seen it. Okay, so I might have just thought like through a distant memory that I had seen it when I was younger. But I clearly have not seen it for at least 15 years. I'll guarantee that's actually a 100% true thing. Haven't seen it for 15 years. Have no idea about it other than there's that field they play in for Major League Baseball, and then Costner is in it. And that's about all I know about it. I've literally never. I feel like you're disappointed. This is why I didn't want to tell you.
I'm severely disappointed in you.
Yeah. I don't like.
No, it's. I mean,
it is what it is.
Everything. But like,
I think I've seen it, but like it was so long ago, I don't remember. I have no idea what happened.
Don't know because you haven't seen the movie. I'll put it like this:
ghosts come out. Of the
there was a story that was immortalized in the movie and the book that the movie was based on about an actual player named Moonlight Graham that had wanted to, made it all the way up to the big leagues, gets called up, and then he finally gets a chance to bat in the last game of the season, or he finally gets put in the game, last game of the season, last inning, and the batter before him gets the third out, so he never gets the at bat, and he never makes it back to the big leagues again.
Wow.
So, and they kind of memorialize, they kind of honor his story in that, because he ended up, like the guy that Moonlight Grime, he ended up becoming a doctor and stuff like that. So this year, the guy that they talked about that had a similar story, he, makes it up to the big leagues. He gets one at bat, hits a home run, and then doesn't get the chance to play again that season. Ends up getting a World Series ring, because I believe it was the Dodgers, if I remember correctly. He played for the Dodgers. It was the 63 Dodgers.
Oh, okay. Long time ago.
Gets, his kind of going back and forth, and thinks he's going to get called back up, and then gets drafted into Vietnam.
Wow.
Gets severely injured, loses one of his men, gets back from Vietnam, tries to work his way back up, doesn't ever make it into the big leagues again. So he has one at bat with one home run, and he also has, because he had gotten injured in Vietnam, a Purple Heart.
That's like a 6,000 OPS, guys, just so you're saying. It's like
so he is the only person to have a perfect batting average and a perfect heart and a Purple Heart.
He's batting 1,000 with a purple. Like, at what point do you just drop Mike on your entire existence? Like, if you're that dude, like, you just go like this. You just drop Mike.
So,
yeah.
It's, phenomenal story. The guy's an American hero.
But his life, not like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't want to drop the mic because he was fucking exhausted.
And, so for the league did some things well with it, but I also want to say, I feel like they could do some things better, because if you make it the All-Star game, if the players are able to enjoy it, which is, I think, an important part of it, because it makes it a better experience for them too. And if you put it as the Field of Dreams game, there's more incentive, so we get better talent at the All-Star game. I think it's worth it.
I think we've sold it to Major League Baseball.
I hope so.
I know that Rob Manfred is a regular watcher. So, Rob, we would like to say from Pinfall Streams, and I think everybody involved here at Pinfall Streams and the whole Pinfall Stream family would like to say, fuck you, you motherfucker. You are the biggest piece of shit commissioner that has ever existed, which is saying something.
God. So
yes. To you, Rob Manfred, we would like to say that.
Yes.
Disrespectful.
So the next thing that we're going to talk about, because we want to talk about the Aaron Rodgers ayahuasca thing, but one more baseball related topic, and then we're going to dive into the Aaron Rodgers thing, because I think that's an interesting piece. So back in 2017, allegations, and I thought these were more recent, but I was researching so we could talk about this. I found out. So back in 2017, there were allegations that were raised against Pete Rose that he groomed a teenage girl. She said that the individual in question said that he and her had a sexual relationship from the time that she was age 14, and based on when that would have been, he would have been in his early 30s. He said that she was at least 16, and all of the sexual encounters happened in Ohio, which makes them within the age of consent law for the time. Obviously, because of the stark age difference between the two individuals, and his position, all of that, there was a lot of criticism. That resurfaced again this week when Pete Rose was honored as part of the 1980 Phillies World Series team. They did a special thing to honor them that they were planning to do before the pandemic, and then obviously the pandemic happened and they weren't able to do it. A reporter asked Pete Rose if he had any statement about the allegations. And his exact words were, "It's been 55 years, babe. It's time to move on."
Good God.
Now,
with that comment at the end.
Hold on. Right. Because completely classless. And we're going to break that down in a minute. But I want to watch your head explode as I tell you this next part.
Okay.
After that got released, and the reporter that he said this to tweeted about it, because it was a live interview, but like she tweeted about it after.
Right.
Hall of Fame caliber pitcher Curt Schilling commented and said, "I say this as someone who knows him, who he treated kindly, but the things he says and his lack of self-awareness are unreal. Hall of Fame talent, absolutely, but just a bad guy with literally zero morals or scruples and not an ounce of couth." This is a real tweet from Curt Schilling.
And Kurt, I can't. Okay, I want everybody who's watching the show right now. If you've never seen a picture of fucking Pete Rose smiling, just look it up on Google right now. I just want you to look at an image and tell me that human being is not a guy who does everything that Tony just described. Tell me, look at him, dude,
and
fucking.
Here's
yeah, go ahead.
And you know, so as we talk about Pete. He denies the allegations that he was grooming this chick, that she was 14 when they started having sex. You know, she was 16, which that's still not a defense. I'm sorry, bro. It's not, you know,
it's
and
totally not. But
and
at the same
like,
time,
and you and I, especially like in those rural towns in the Midwest, you'll see that 16-year-old girl dating a 32-year-old dude. And the grand scheme of things, nobody says anything, but the normal thinking people like you and I that have common sense, like we're looking at this going, this is fucking disgusting and wrong, because
it's whispered in small towns as well. You know what I'm saying? Like they just nobody is. Like, but like let's put ourselves in to play devil's advocate. Let's put ourselves in Pete Rose's shoes. Okay, they're probably very sweaty. Let's put him. Let's put ourselves in Pete Rose's shoes and. Try not to slip. No. It's the 70s, right? Okay, so it's the 70s, basically. But this would have been when he was like, he was very, very famous at this point. As famous as a 70s baseball player can get, basically, right? He's the best player on the Reds. So he's basically he's a celebrity who has money, correct? Living in the 70s, okay? So his life already isn't, what would you call it? Normal? It's not.
Right.
It's not in 1 ounce normal. Okay. So like he starts to believe, because he can hit 360, that these things are obtainable, that he can just make a wife out of like the ground. He can just fucking form it like Eve. Like it would just fucking, like, that's literally what this man thought at some point, because he was
right.
He's very, very confident. And when I say that, I do not mean in a good way. I mean,
no,
I mean, in the worst way that you can be.
Way.
Yeah. In the worst way that you can be very confident, basically imaginable.
Right.
So like, I don't defend what he was doing, because he was clearly actually doing that. I mean, it's not really, the quote fucking sent me for a second. And then the Curt Schilling fucking tweet is the greatest thing, because it just like buries it in the ground. Everything we thought, they're just like, yeah, I love the zero couth, just no like awareness for where he's at as far as like conversation or anything, just nothing, just raw and
just nothing.
Dude, why can I think of dude's name right now? The guy's on Sunday winter meetings with you.
Oh, Craig or
Craig.
Stephen.
Why can't I think of Craig? Because he's got 3 names on Facebook. That's why. Because Craig Allen. I was about to call him Allen. That's Craig. Get 1 name on Facebook, bro. That's how people learn your name now.
True story.
He was talking about Pete Rose though. He was talking about Pete Rose that one night with me. And like I was super interested, because like he was talking about like, and he said basically the same thing. I'm not putting words in Craig's mouth, but like he kind of said the same thing. He's like, he's just very not smooth about
one
of
of the things.
Offensive
shit. When it comes to baseball, Pete Rose knows his shit. And
the game, yes.
As a player, he was a Hall of Fame caliber talent who didn't get into the Hall of Fame because of what he did as a coach. And of course, we have to understand that sports is not a vessel for morality. We know that there are piece of shit people that are athletes. So let's understand those things that are separate from Hall of Fame talent. But when we look at the actual person of Pete Rose, one of the things that I thought was interesting is I was getting to know Craig. So Craig used to write articles for MLB Trading Card Magazine. Okay. So he has a lot of knowledge about, especially, the trading card business at that time. He was the first member of the press that got to interview Pete Rose after the allegations were levied.
I didn't know about, I don't know if he mentioned that, but yeah, that's crazy. I honestly did not know that.
And so, and when he went to interview him about it, he tells the story of Pete Rose. They were going through batting practice. He was watching his players, and he calls Craig over, and he just starts pointing out this hitter and what he was doing with his swing and what he actually looks for, and Pete Rose is one of the best pure hitters to ever play the game of baseball. Like,
dude invented the term rake. That dude can fucking rake, bro.
Absolutely.
Everywhere. Doesn't matter where it's at.
One look at Pete Rose's stats, it just blows you away.
Right.
But he denied, changing jerseys between innings to sell to repay money for his gambling debts. He denied the gambling debts. He denied the gambling ever happened. Like, lied through his teeth.
Definitely not a degenerate.
And obviously those things were found out to be true. So we have no reason, we have no incentive at this point to, when he especially because he refuses to approach it. And he says things like, that was 55 years ago, babe. Really, bro? No, this is, especially when you're in the public eye and somebody who is trying to advocate for public support to get you into to try and get into the Hall of Fame before you die. And that's how you respond to the reporter was Alex Coffey, who is with she's a writer for the Phillies, used to work for The Athletic.
Let me guess, attractive young woman.
Hold on, let me look.
That kind of changes it. If you think about it, because imagine.
Not conventionally attractive. I think she's attractive, but she's not attractive in the conventional way that you would think.
But would Pete Rose hit on her in an interview that she did a couple years ago or whatever? Like, would he?
No, because this interview is this week on the day
this
of
week.
It was on the day of honoring when the Phillies did the thing honoring the 80 World Series team.
Let me ask you this, Tony. Would Pete Rose hit on that woman in an interview?
Based on my understanding of Pete Rose, he would hit on just.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yes.
So yes, without probably yeah.
Okay, is she female?
Yeah,
because Pete Rose would hit on it in an interview at this point in his life.
Probably, yeah.
100%.
He's 80. Was it 81? I think he's what he is now. Like, he's getting up there.
I bet pieces of his skin are just falling off. Like in whole just there is like, oh God, my skin thing.
I think if Vegas wanted to make some interesting odds on Pete Rose, you just make odds on how many liver spots are going to have been appeared on his face from one appearance to the next when he's on TV.
Jeez.
Dude's aging like milk.
It's a good thing that they put peanuts out at airports for people to eat, because Pete Rose would never eat anything besides liquor at those things if he didn't have some of those peanuts. Just a couple of them, just to get
the salt.
Get the rest of the scotch down.
There's nothing like airport scotch, Dan.
Oh my God.
So it's true fucking story. So the last time that I came to St. Joe, my flight out to St. Joe was so fucking stressful. Like, I was supposed to be in town by noon that day because I had a stand-up show that night. And because Delta is a dumpster fire of an airline, the flight kept getting delayed and different things. And I didn't make it. I was actually late for a show that I booked and scheduled and organized. Like, I did. This show happened because I set it up.
Right. So
I was supposed to host the show. I was supposed to be on, all night basically, doing what you see what I do, doing my thing, and
it's also super stressful to you that you're like, guys, most places you go, like nobody like really expects you to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's like, oh, if Tony doesn't show up tonight, our night's gonna be ruined. Like nobody ever said, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but at this point, they do.
That's right.
Which is not good for your anxiety.
No, God, no. It was fun. I was a disaster. But that was also the first time that I got through my set in like on stage and like in doing a full, because like when I was going to host, I was going to do 5 minutes and then break the rest of my material up, a couple of minutes in between each act. Well, because of the fact that I went from hosting to being the last comic before the headliner, I had to do my 10 minutes plus an extra 5 all in one set. And I did it because you've seen me perform. There's times like if I get overstimulated, I forget my material and it takes me a second. And sometimes I just lose it altogether. I had to, so despite everything I've been through that day, I actually made it through the entire set without any problems, which, it was an achievement for me and a confidence builder. But when I was flying home, I was getting stressed out because this was like right before the pandemic started and things were starting to take hold and shit was already starting to get canceled because it was the end of February of 2020. That flight home in KCI was the first time I've ever bought booze at a bar, and I paid $20 for 1 ounce of bourbon to drink before my flight. And I was fucking pissed.
Yeah,
like $20.
What the fuck, dude? Like, yeah, how?
No,
like, that's so bad.
Because I had to tip the bartender, so I still ended up spending $30 for 1 glass of bourbon. I was like, and
it was like this much in the bottom of the glass.
No, she actually overpoured it. She poured me a full 2 because I asked her the price and she told me how much it was. I was like, okay, yeah, just give me a 1 ounce. Just put it on the rocks. And I ran my card and I just put a $10 tip in. I tip my bartender. It's an airport. You tip your fucking bartenders, people, by the way.
Yeah, tip your bartenders like ridiculous amounts.
And she turns back around to get ready to pour the glass and looks down at her screen and sees that I just given her a $10 tip. And I got 2 ounces of bourbon. So it was kind of nice. But
nice. I see. So it was like pre-transaction, you had to pay for it. Yeah. Like before you even got the bourbon, you had to pay for it.
Of course.
God damn, dude, that's crazy.
Why not? Because it was that little bar area in, like, it wasn't even one of the bars like out on the outside, like before you go through security check. It was inside.
Oh, so you like, well, and I know, yeah, I get. Oh, okay. Well, yeah,
so
I guess
they don't want you to. They'd be like, hey, let me start a tab, get a glass of bourbon, and then get on the plane and leave.
That's crazy though, dude. Because I've drank at an airport bar. I think it was in Omaha. Where it was just like right there. Like you're just like right there. Like in the terminals are like you could just go walk, like just wait until your section gets called, and then you just like walk off.
I carried my glass
flying somewhere else.
I hadn't finished my bourbon when we started boarding, and I carried the glass onto the plane with me. So got everything set, got situated, and then finished my drink.
That's nice. You can just
because it was plastic cup with ice in there, so they didn't give a fuck.
Right, dude. I had to drink before the first time I flew. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this sober.
You better with it now?
Kind of. I don't really fly that much. I mean, I went to Australia the first time I ever flew. I went to Australia.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
From Nebraska?
Yeah. No. It was Omaha to Denver, Denver to LA, and LA to Australia, which is LA to Australia is still 14 hours.
That's still a lot of flying for your first time, though, man.
Yeah, dude, it was like 20 hours. It was like 20 hours fucking there and back. So 40 total hours, just like right. First time I ever flew. And it was one of those shitty little fucking like pieces of, packs of gum type planes was the first one I ever rode on, like where the fucking wings are like moving and stuff.
Oh, Jesus.
We're going like 280 miles an hour. It's not good, guys. I know that sounds fast for a car. There's cars that can go faster than that. There's cars that can go faster than that.
What's the land speed record? The land speed record just is over 310, isn't it?
Oh, I think it's higher than that. The land speed record for a vehicle, like a wheeled vehicle. Oh God, no, dude, it's like in the 600s.
Is it really?
For a wheeled vehicle, yeah. Like they have those two. They have those two fucking. They have those like torpedo like all it is a fucking engine. Like it's a huge motorcycle. It's like a huge motorcycle, basically. It's like a huge motorcycle.
Okay, but it's like long and like super aerodynamic and shit. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it looks like the end of a dart, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's got 2 wheels on the bottom of it. And they just fucking go like, they go like 600, 700 miles an hour and shit. And it's always like out in the middle of the desert. They're like in the middle of like a huge area because they have to get going. It'd be like, because V12 with a fucking, just riding a V12, like the actual engine.
Like, imagine, of course they have to do that in the middle of nowhere, because if that wrecks, like, you're fucked. Like, anything in a 60-foot path after you wreck is also fucked.
I am I respect the amount of testicle or balls, for lack of a better term.
Testicle fortitude. Yeah.
Whatever that would be.
No, that's regardless of gender. That takes balls. Like, that's what it is.
Balls.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And they're also fucking idiots. Because
no self-preservation.
Just absolute, like, you guys, you're gonna be dumb. You gotta be tough. Like, because you're going down. If you even reckon like test practice, you're going 318. Like,
it's so. And the thing for me, like, so sorry, we'll get back on topic here. So with Pete Rose, the thing for me is, like, when I look at this and I start to think about it, and of course, you want to try to be objective and understand somebody's thing.
Speaking of fast men, Tony. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay.
I had to get it out.
You had to get it out. No. When you think about it, yes, it was 55 years ago. And I can understand that argument. However, what this dude did was at the very least morally wrong.
Just because people thought it might have been okay back then, doesn't make it okay, and doesn't mean that somebody who's not a kind of piece of shit or a full piece of shit is gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's that kind of pieces of shit pass the test of time.
Right. And so, like for me, when I think about it, it's like, so like there was the example that I posted earlier on Facebook. If I break both of your kneecaps and ruin your career and destroy your life, and then I get famous, 30 years from now, somebody's like, you fucked up Dan's knees and didn't have any punishment for it, and you intentionally harmed this person. And I'm like, oh, that was 30 years ago. Talk about something else. Like,
right.
Nobody would feel like you are out of line and being pissed off that I never got punished for what I did wrong.
You actually got the opposite. You got rewarded. And I had to deal with, I had exactly. And it's sexually, you know what I'm saying? So like, that's an added dimension to it. And it's like,
exactly,
that's like an added dimension to it. And like, yeah, she gets none of the advantages that he had at that point. Like, she gets none of that, but she still has to deal with the same shit. And in a way harsher way, because there's people coming at her like, Pete Rose wouldn't do that, right? It's like, yes,
right.
He would.
and
he would.
That's exactly what he would do. And then you add in that she has to, she probably has to live with, if she turns on any baseball related content, you risk hearing people that are advocating, like I have, that he should be allowed in the Hall of Fame.
I've done it too, but that's as a player, guys. The Hall of Fame isn't the Hall of Fame persons. Like, it's not the Hall of Fame. Like, that guy picks up a soup ladle every Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about guys who did one action.
And you and I understand that. You and I understand that, just like we were saying earlier, sports is not a vessel for morality. However, the common person, when they think about professional athletes and people that are in the Hall of Fame, people that are the star athletes of the sport or of sports in general, like, they expect them, even if they are assholes, to not be a murderer, not be a pedophile, not be a rapist. There are still certain standards for those things.
Absolutely.
That people expect. And when that veil gets removed and you learn that they're a murderer, Ray Rice, that they're a rapist, Ben Roethlisberger, Deshaun Watson,
Ray Lewis.
Ray
Rice is a woman beater.
Oh, yeah. Ray Rice, Ray Lewis, can't, it's you feel like you want to believe that he's an approachable guy because he's a professional athlete, but what you don't want to do is approach him in an elevator.
Ray Rice has a hell of a left hook, guys. I don't know if you've seen it.
God damn it.
Like, seriously, though, that's fucked. The worst part of that,
fucked.
dude, is that she hits the fucking railing afterwards. That's the worst part. Like, that's really what I think was like. I was like, oh, dude, that's serious. Like, she could have been fucking fucked up from that.
That video and the Chris Brown Rihanna video. Those are in the elevator.
Never seen it.
It's like it's very Ray Rice-esque. Honestly, it is. I'm sorry, Ray Lewis-esque. Like it's very, because like he drops her and she hits the ground.
Right. Like he threw a man punch at her.
Yeah, he threw a man punch at her.
Like he was gonna try and knock out a dude. Yeah.
Crumpled basically. Those two, like, because like those two were definitely worse than the Kareem Hunt, like the video with Kareem Hunt and that chick.
Do you think it's so bad, Tony, for real though? Because do you think it's so bad because we realize that like that dude and that second just forgot, he saw red, like he forgot what was going, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like because he knew it's not okay to do that, but he went so red.
Person, right.
Like, and I think at a probably base level, those guys both knew that they were not supposed to be doing that, right? But they got so angry.
We won't talk about Marshawn Lynch this week. We may table that for next week because that's been an interesting story that's been breaking. But what is his name? Part of the Legion of Boom that went crazy, tried to break down the door. What was?
Yeah, it's Richard Sherman.
That's it. Sorry, I don't know why I forgot.
It's all good,
name.
Dude. I do it all the time. Random names that you should know, that you know.
Right. But I mean, Richard Sherman, like Richard Sherman's kind of an asshole. Like we could all understand that, but at the same time, as a level-headed person, he understands that the behavior that night was wrong. But in that moment, and I think a lot of it, especially for contact athletes, athletes that play contact sports,
violent
that
games.
Part of your brain, the violent games, that part of your brain stops working.
Yeah, it just went to like, this is how I feel right now, and this is how I would take it out of my, you know what I'm saying? Like really, like but you can't though. Like I think there's a level there almost where it becomes like people, it's so bad because people understand like in that moment that dude didn't give a fuck what he did, and I think that can stretch to killing people. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why it's so bad.
Slope. Right?
Yeah, that's why it's so bad.
Because I mean, you look at like Aaron Hernandez.
Right.
Is a prime example. Like you start with just like ripping guys off in drug deals and basic shit, and it turns into multiple, not just what we thought was originally one,
right?
Multiple murders that it was found out that he was involved in. And the human mind so often in times of fear goes to the worst possible scenarios. And so when we look at, like, even with the Pete Rose situation with this younger girl, let's say she was 16 and it was legal. As somebody who has been a victim of sexual assault and has a little deeper understanding of the mental side of sex in a relationship because of my experience, one of the things that people think about is the maturity gap between a 16-year-old kid, because that's what she was. She was a kid.
Yeah.
And a 30-year-old man, 31, 32, it was early 30s, 31, 32-year-old man that is a professional athlete. Yes, they didn't make the money then that they do now, but those guys were still taken care of. Like in the 70s, like you were fine.
They were famous too, which was
huge.
They
were famous. You got, they were getting endorsements. Huge. Yeah, like they were fine. They had the money. And so there is an amount, and with that, when you get to that level, there is an amount of expected, you get what you want. But if you are that type of person where what you want is a child half your age,
and somehow supersedes what everybody else wants, anybody else wants,
why are you going for a child when there is probably a chick that is within 10 years of your age that is even hotter than this 16-year-old girl, and probably knows more what to do with the dirty stuff in the bedroom, and can do not only what she wants but teach you new shit.
I'm glad
Shout
you said
out to
something.
Slutty girls, I love them.
I love sluts. But I'm glad you said that though, because like the grooming part is the worst part. Like that's the part we're not even talking about. Like that's the worst part, because he actually thought it was possible, for one, to actually create a wife, is basically what that means. Like he was basically like gonna make this woman exactly what he wanted in every facet, regardless of what she actually wanted to do. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he was going to try and like change that chemistry real early. That is some fucking absolutely that is some straight evil shit. Like that's some straight evil stuff.
When you think about the Warren Jeffs, and I know Warren Jeffs is an extreme case, and one case against Pete Rose isn't the same as what Jeffs did, but it's the same thing. Jeffs was shaping these young girls from a prepubescent age to be the perfect wife, sometimes with other perfect wives for the same husband,
to serve him. Yeah.
To serve him. And by getting them young, and his belief is that the younger that you get them into that role, the easier it is to shape them into what you want them to be for the rest of your life.
And the fucked up part is he's right. Like psychologically, he's right there. That's the worst part.
Right. And it's a very predatory behavior. We talk about, the big discussions around Deshaun Watson and everything that he is accused of doing. Like the clear line with everything that happened here is that he exhibited predatory behavior. And just because what Pete Rose did was with just one person, and with a 16-year-old that was at the age of consent, just because they're different behaviors, it's both still predatory.
Absolutely. And I think that, and
that's a very concerning mindset to have.
Yes. That's basically what I was going to say, is like, I know that people who are watching any kind of sport, who are regular, probably more so with regular watchers of sports, but like anybody who watches sports, they think about who the person behind the athlete is. That's literally like, that's a very common thing to do, obviously, because you're wanting to know the actual, like, what's that person like? Like they do this thing, and like we see them all the time, and it's almost like now with TV and shit, they're like, they're almost in your living room with you, right? So you feel like you know them in some weird way, right? And you would like to actually know them as a real person, because you know other real people and have friends and things like that, right?
Right.
And I think that's such a huge part of it, because that's why they're getting condemned for this stuff, because they know, like, if I hung out with Deshaun Watson, bro, not going to be a fan. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that right now. Not going to be a fan. Yep. And I can tell that, and that makes me not enjoy him as much as an athlete. Right.
But the difference is, like, Tom Brady, he's this elite level quarterback, but when you get to see the human element of Tom Brady, you're like, I could sit and have a beer with this guy and watch him troll people. You look at Rob Gronkowski. I don't think, any regular person would hate having a beer with Rob Gronkowski, because that absolutely not. Like that dude walks into a bar, he is the energy at the bar, regardless of if it's a 50-person bar or a 5,000-person bar.
If you're looking to get drunk, he's like the party bus Hulk. He's like party bus Hulk.
Absolutely.
Like all of his powers just go into partying, like smashing beers on his head and chugging them. Like that's what all of his Hulk powers go into.
Oh, and weed, because he does own a CBD company.
Bunch of weed, whatever you guys want to do. We're just going to party, and like we're going to do cake stands. Like that's basically, if you want to have one of those kind of fun nights, Rob Gronkowski's probably your guy.
Exactly. That dude knows how to party, and he doesn't, because as far as I remember, like Gronk doesn't have any kids, right?
No, I don't think he's probably just like asexual. He just looks like a Ken doll.
Because I've never really seen him like with a girl or anything.
There's never any pictures of him or anything. Yeah.
And maybe he's gay. No disrespect if he is. Maybe he just didn't want to come out. Completely understand. That's a difficult decision to make. Not criticizing at all if that's the case. But
he just goes in like a box. He just goes in like a metal box, and just like Captain America came out of. And that's what he does all the time when he's not like partying and stuff and getting pictures taken of him, or playing football. He's just like in a box where he just recharges at, and then just comes back out. And that's just Gronk again. They're like, how's he staying in such good shape? He's like, I don't know. He's a rechargeable battery. He just goes. He's a machine, guys. It's very strange.
But, it's and what makes the proof, because when you look at predatory behavior, it's very narcissistic in nature. I think we can all agree that there's anybody that exhibits these predatory aspects. There is a bunch of narcissism at the base because they think they're going to get away with it, and that's why they're doing it.
And we are all narcissists, guys. Let's not fucking. But we're not actual. There's a scale. There's a scale of narcissism because obviously, to stay alive, guys, you have to be a narcissist. Let's be honest. There, to stay alive in your early life, you have to be a narcissist in your early life to be. But you have to at least, like, I feel like there is a level where Pete Rose is just like he's a little bit above the bar on narcissism. I'd say more than a little bit. He's very high up there.
He's very much above the bar.
Spectrum.
And there is definitely a narcissistic spectrum. Gandhi, Pete Rose. Like there's a clear gap.
And then the one guy who Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. He's like another kick up, and then there's a
yeah. I mean, but that's the thing is like it's a spectrum. But when you look at his response, and just like Curt Schilling, who the irony of Schilling being the one saying it isn't lost on me.
I thought that same thing. I was like, oh God.
Like, and that's what struck me on that comment. It's like Curt Schilling is the one talking about somebody having no self-awareness and zero couth.
First time you hear from Curt Schilling in fucking 6 years, and he's like, "Oh, there's a bigger narcissist than me. Got him.
That's what I was. That's
got
like
a comment.
Robert Kraft making a comment on the Deshaun Watson case. Like, no, this is not your time, bro.
So somehow Robert Kraft thinks that because he is a little bit better than Deshaun Watson as far as the narcissism thing goes. He's like, oh man, that guy's worse than me somehow.
He was at least paying for what he was at least paying for what he was asking for and being forward about it.
I actually don't like the Robert Kraft thing. I'm very mild on because dude.
Yeah, there's an old dude with a dead wife that wanted a handy from two Asian chicks. Like, yes, there was more problems like with the sex trafficking and stuff that was going on there. He didn't know about that. He was just trying to get a hand job.
And if it's not the sex trafficking, if the sex trafficking thing's never involved in it, we're literally going like, well, they probably like the extra money. They don't have to do that much. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, is it fucking like, this is cutting the sex trafficking thing out. Weird?
Yeah.
It is. Right. But he was paying them a fuck ton of money. Like, dude, I would do some absolutely scrupulous things for fucking that much money. You know what I'm saying? Like, if for certain amounts, like, come on. We both would, Tony. Handies at the carnival. You know what I'm talking about?
Everybody's got a price.
So all you gotta do is just do handies.
Everybody's got a price.
To a minor. And I don't mean like a minor. I mean like a minor, like a guy with dirty hands. It's Lucy K. Get a hand job from a fair from a minor. He's like, and I don't mean like a minor, like somebody who's underage. I mean like a minor, like a guy with dirty hands works in a mine.
That's another one. The irony of all of Louis C.K.'s masturbation jokes in retrospect, not lost on me.
Maybe we should have seen that coming.
On me. Yeah, we really should have.
We should have. We missed the signs.
But the Pete Rose thing is problematic because, like, in his response as well, like that's where you can. It sucks to say that just a couple of lines can affirm that at least Pete Rose is the type of person to have done what he's accused of doing.
And like, dude, absolutely, and like the Curt Schilling thing is so funny because I was literally like, I was thinking. When you read the Curt Schilling quote, I was like, well, Kurt, like, I was like, I wasn't sold on it. And then you read before that, you read his answer to it. And I'm like, oh, God damn it. He's not giving us any shots to give him a sliver of hope. He just is shutting down the hope.
Like, and then after the game, and then he finds her multiple times near the end of the game, like apologizing and offering to sign 1,000 baseballs. Are you fucking serious, bro?
Rose did that?
To the reporter, yeah. I was like, nah, bro, it's a little too late for that. You're already hosed.
It came out of your mouth, man. Like you like when do you even think of saying, like, if he was like chuckle joking, like I get it, but then you like try to apologize to her, you actually said it, motherfucker. She could tell. Apologizing a couple of hours later because you realize you're getting hosed on Twitter, that it's already too late, bro. Exactly. He saw the reaction. Shut up. He saw the reaction and he was like, oh, this isn't good for Pete Rose. He talks in the third person in his own head.
He has to talk in the third person.
Pete Rose doesn't like this.
That just makes Pete Rose needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Pete Rose scared. Pete Rose scared.
Yeah. Pete Rose scared. Pete Rose needs more jerseys to sell for more gambling.
Pete Rose, when Pete Rose gets scared, he signed baseballs. That's what he did. Oh shit!
When Pete Rose gets scared,
his hand just starts moving in his signature like this. You just got to put a pin in his hand, and it just does it. So you can just put stuff in front of it. You just put stuff in front of it. If you can get him in that mode, bro, it's very profitable. Very profitable. I bet. That's how Craig. That's how Craig.
Every other week, just so they can keep him above float. Like I'm gonna jump up from behind him. He's gonna get scared. He's gonna start moving his hand. I'm just gonna put like 10 baseballs in front of him and then run away. They'll sell him on eBay.
Like they're scaring the hiccups out of him. They're saying, "We're going to scare him." They get him in mode. Yes, good. That's how Craig made all of his money. Craig figured out how to do it. Craig figured out how to do it. And he has like, yeah. So the guy pretty much have like, what do you have signed by Pete Rose? Like a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
It's a lot. I don't know. There's like a.
I think he's told me that he does have several things.
He got him in the mode, and he's got whatever was in his pockets at the time. He was just taking shit out. He's taking shit out of Pete Rose's pockets and putting it in front of him. Like, here's a cigarette pack. It's a signed cigarette pack. Pete Rose, authentic. Good God. Hey, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, no, that's going to be the next thing. So, Aaron Rodgers, in an interview recently, credited 2 trips to South America to go on a guided ayahuasca journey as to how he managed to get back-to-back MVPs. For those of you that don't know, ayahuasca is a psychedelic that is administered through tea that is typically done in a ceremonial practice in South America. If you're ever offered ayahuasca and you're in anywhere but South America where it's supposed to be, just say no. It will probably kill you.
That's actually where it's definitely get the real stuff.
Yeah, like and here's the thing: it's kind of like with shrooms. Like you need to know what you're getting.
It's a derivative of DMT.
It is a derivative of DMT, and with ayahuasca, it is a guided trip. It's not something that you do alone. Like if you have the right stuff, you can do with shrooms. Like if you're in the right environment, you lock yourself in a room for 8 hours, you can do a shroom trip by yourself. You'll be fine.
Or DMT,
right?
Or smoke DMT.
But with ayahuasca, it's so much more potent.
It's not more potent.
But the psychoactive part is
more than shrooms for sure.
More than shrooms, right? But
actual DMT.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it used to be like just a ceremonial thing for some South American tribes, but has evolved. And Rodgers credited the ayahuasca. Now, what was really funny was one of the first questions that people asked was if that was going to get him in trouble with the league. And league was like, ayahuasca's not on the banned substances list. We can't do shit about it. And Goodell even said, like, he's not going to get in trouble because it's not on the banned substance list or anything that they would even test for. They probably don't know how to test for ayahuasca.
Dude, it's natural in the human body. I don't think you can fail a drug test for DMT because it occurs naturally in your body. So it's already in your blood. It's in your blood all the time. It's just what levels of it. And ayahuasca is just a lessened version. It's a diluted version of DMT. So it lasts for way longer and it's not as intense as like smoking straight DMT, which is like only lasts for like 5 minutes. And,
really? I didn't realize dude, the DMT was that quick of a trip.
I told you that I smoked it, right? I've done DMT.
Oh, you didn't tell me that. No, I didn't know that.
Absolutely. Dude, it's the only drug that's ever changed my personality. It absolutely made me more like, it helped me a lot with anxiety and stuff, for real.
Interesting.
A lot, yes. It changed my life, I would say. 100%. And it lasted for like 4 minutes. And it felt like about half an hour, but the whole thing was like it actually lasted for about 3 days, but it was like just the initial high is like 5 minutes, which feels like about 30 minutes. But like, dude, I was in a daze for a couple of days after that because I was literally, I kept remembering thinking like, I didn't know that stuff was in my mind. Like, I didn't know that my mind was not capable, but like, I didn't know those parts of my brain that I could access and like the things that it can like, dude, it's unbelievable. It's I was kind of people would catch me like staring off into space. Like I was managing a restaurant at the time, and they'd be like, "Dan, can we get this?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, shit, sorry." Like I was thinking about like how crazy it almost scared me. Honestly, it was scary, but at the same time, it was like very enlightening. But scary just to think that your brain can do those kind of processes is unbelievable.
I will say, because I've the only psychedelic thing I've ever done, obviously outside smoking weed, was one shrooms trip, and it was a very positive experience for me. It's not something I feel like I ever feel the need to do again, unless my PTSD unless like PTSD goes awry. But it helped me understand what my mind was doing and what I needed to work on to get things under control. And I do still have issues with anxiety and being anxious, but I have not had a full-blown panic attack since I had that experience in December. Yep. And so, like I said, it's not something that I've ever sought out again or anything like that, but it changed my life, because this period since December that I've gone without having a full-blown panic attack is the longest I've gone since I was 19.
Makes sense.
And the being able to have more control over my emotional range and sooner recognizing things that are triggers and when my anxiety is out of sorts, so that I can be more proactive about managing things, is one of the reasons why I haven't had a full-blown attack since then. But it also, when they talk about psilocybin, which is the psychoactive part of mushrooms, and what it does for PTSD patients, a lot of mental health issues come down to brain neurons misfiring, either firing they're not supposed to or not firing they're supposed to. That's what a lot of these things.
It actually repairs connections,
and it resynchronizes those connections. And so that's why I've been able to back it off. And there have been conversations that I've had with individuals that they've said maybe if I were to be like a regular dose or like microdose.
Just fixing your brain.
That I could transition. But for me, I lack the organization to actually do that and do it correctly. And so I don't want to put myself in any risk where it's like, hey, I'm going to take my little bit of shrooms before I start work. And then I go to sell insurance with that in my system and fuck some and cause some problems. So I made the safer choice for myself. Like, I'm not going to do that right now. It's not something I'm against right now, but like,
right. But dude, like, but after like 3 or 4 times though, like, yeah, you definitely need to have like your weekend, or like make it like a 2-day, right? But like be high, like the entire time you're awake, basically, like be on it. And then you'll be able to like control, you know what I'm saying? Like, at least you'll have an idea of where you're at. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the worst part is like, you can get to the point where like, you don't know where you're at, and it's enlightening and it's fun kind of most of the time. But at the same time, like, you don't want to be doing that while you're working and shit. So like, just find a control over it though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where you can take a little bit, like the first night, just take like quite a bit, like not that you're going to get high off of them and then be like, oh, well, obviously, I'm not near that fucking high. And like, then you can kind of drain it down. And then it becomes like, literally, it's kind of just like, it's like a really good anti-anxiety medication that you don't fall asleep on, basically, is what I can describe it as best.
Obviously Joe Rogan's talks a lot about it. It's an interesting thing, but like with ayahuasca, it's a guided trip. And, Aaron Rodgers even said that at one point he felt like he had the experience of thousands of hands on him and supporting him. And it was his ancestors telling him that they were proud of him and that he, and trying to help him learn how to love himself. And
it was his ancestors, Tony.
and so, but when you look at like the struggles that Aaron Rodgers has had in his personal life, he doesn't really have a relationship with very much of his family. Majorly failed relationship with Danica Patrick, majorly failed relationship with Shailene Woodley. Like, so for him to be able to, to come back and say, hey, I really felt like I learned how to love myself. Like, that's pretty remarkable. And I'm happy for the dude.
Story like, after story. Yes, me too. And like, it makes total sense. Did you see the beard come out and the hair and everything, like right after that? Like, it's just, it makes total sense. Gets out of the
truck. It looks like he was a stand-in for Nick Cage in Con Air.
Jim Carrey hasn't came out and said that he definitely did it, but like Jim Carrey did the same thing, bro. Jim Carrey with the beard and the hair and stuff, he did about the same thing. And then if you watch interviews with him, completely different guy. Like completely different dude. Like it's great though, because they're like they seem like they're more relaxed. Aaron Rodgers seems like he's more relaxed.
He does seem happier
all the time, dude.
Which, could you imagine having to carry around all that weight for that long and then finally getting released from it?
And have the sensation of 1,000 hands who are your ancestors lifting you up and telling that they're proud of your spirit and actually believing that that really happened. And it probably did in some weird way, right? And definitely in Aaron Rodgers' brain, that shit happened. And so, like, yeah, he's completely changed from it. It's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing.
I mean, and that's the thing is, it's just like, you know, when it comes to any major medication that's supposed to truly help you, it should be under the right circumstances. You know, this is why I'm more of an advocate for, you know, the end of drug prohibition and just allow these things to be in more controlled environments, because when you make something illegal, you make it harder to control.
Absolutely.
And so,
yeah,
because like there have been studies that show positive side effects of cocaine when used under certain circumstances.
Yeah, there's definitely positive effects to basically every drug. I mean, they wouldn't be made at some point without it. Ketamine,
there are better, and so if we're gonna have these substances available, I can appreciate that, but you devalue, you limit the amount of people that something can help, when you make it taboo, and there's no true value in making it taboo. And I say this about hard drugs as well, because, when you think about, crack, we'll use the crack epidemic as an example.
Cocaine.
And cocaine, like, people that get addicted to those drugs have a serious mental problem.
I don't think that I think there's important to distinguish, though. There's not a difference in crack and cocaine. I feel a lot of people don't know this. I don't know if it's probably obvious to us, but because we like drugs, but no, cocaine is just a rocked version, or sorry, crack is just a rocked version of cocaine. I think there's a lot of people who don't. I think it's an amphetamine. It's just rocked.
But
smoke it.
Isn't there one that's like an amphetamine and cocaine combined? Is that speed? Is that what speed is?
No, speed would just be methamphetamine. I mean, it depends on what like terminology you use, but yeah, I think speed is just methamphetamine. It's just anything that's cocaine is like cocaine, like that's got a lot of names, but
speed is going to be any kind of amphetamine. Okay, all right,
amphetamine, yeah, different than
but like
coca.
When you look at that and these individuals that were getting addicted to it, we all learn and understand that these things are bad and can do bad things to you. And so if somebody is gravitating towards that substance, that is, the substance is a problem, but the substance is going to exist regardless of what we do. Drug prohibition, marijuana prohibition, alcohol prohibition, those have proved this point. But if we focus on the mental health of these individuals, like there are countries that when it comes to hard drugs, you have a hard drug addiction, you show up at a rehab. If the police get involved, unless you're a trafficker, like if you're just a user,
right,
you're going to a rehab facility where they're going to, work you off cognitively of the substance, as well as building you up so that you don't get drawn to it again.
Right.
Because there's no value in overcrowding our prisons with these individuals that just need support.
Right. And like, it's important to say that we said it cognitively. And I don't think it's always about the substance. And like, to prove your point about like drug prohibition and why it's completely useless is because, dude, me, I've been addicted to several drugs. Do you know what I'm saying? Like at this point, it's just my personality, correct? Like it has nothing to do with the
it's
drug.
Not the substance, it's the person.
Exactly. That's the best example I can give you. Like that's what it is. Like I actually have an addictive personality, what they call an addict. And it doesn't matter what the difference in the drug is. You know what I'm saying? So the drug's not actually the problem. The cognitive part of my brain and other people's brains is the actual problem, usually.
Yeah.
Like unless you just really fucking like one particular drug high, which is actually pretty rare. You know what I'm saying? Like people, People are like, oh yeah, it's different, blah blah. But like nobody's gonna be like that, like into like just. I say nobody, but like just the outlier would be somebody who's just that into that drug that like that's the drug that is the problem for them, and every other drug won't be a problem at all, right? Because usually they bleed together, and there's and people who are addicted to one substance usually addicted to several or differentiate, correct?
So right, and then like in the alcohol sense, like there's a lot of alcoholics where it's really not hard for them to get away from most alcohols on a normal sense once they get to the point where they're recovering. They're recovering addicts, recovering alcoholic.
Right.
It's just there's this one thing that they literally completely enjoy. Like if my drinking had gotten to the point where I had a problem, the one thing that I guarantee you would be hard for me to turn down would be a glass of bourbon.
Would be what?
It would be a glass of bourbon. Now,
right.
I manage myself, and I have a bottle of bourbon right now that I've had on my fridge for over a month, and it's not even a 750 milliliter bottle. I don't drink that often, but bourbon is my favorite thing. Now, obviously, alcoholics go down this, or drug addicts, they can sometimes go down this rabbit hole of anything and everything.
Right.
But
what's your drug of choice? More.
Yeah, more.
Yeah,
right.
More.
What's your drink of choice? More. But when they get to that point where they're recovering, there's always going to be for a lot of them, there's always going to be that one thing. There's that one little thing that's why you can get pulled back in, because for you it wasn't a bad experience,
right?
And so, but with counseling and mental health focus when it comes to addiction, and I say this regardless of what the addiction is, whether it's a substance abuse thing, whether it's sex addiction,
right?
Control issues is another thing that I look at in the same regard. It's an addiction because you feel this cognitive need to be in control all the time. It's an addiction to control and power.
Fear. It's a lot of fear.
And there's a lot of fear that goes along with addiction issues as well. You're right.
Yeah.
But when you approach this issue from the mental side of it, it changes the results, because if your kid is a psycho, and so you take away their gun,
they're going to try and find more guns.
They're either going to try and find more guns, or they're going to find something else to use, a knife, a bow. Like they're going to, if they're hell bent on destruction, whether it's internal or external, the destruction is imminent unless you treat the person that is doing the destroying. This isn't the dealer. This isn't the enabler. This is the person that's taking the action. And when you look at that with Aaron Rodgers, like, ultimately because of, and especially there's been a lot of perceived, and I'll say perceived because we've never met the guy personally. There's been
He's
a lot
gonna be
of
on the show.
I would love to have him on some point.
Dude, that'd be so awesome.
That would be so dope.
I get a hold of his publicist.
A lot of perceived arrogance and a lot of negative connotations with the personality of Aaron Rodgers. And this isn't just Chicago fans talking shit or Vikings fans talking shit.
Dude, it's even people in Green Bay. I mean, it's everybody who has heard anything that's come out of. He seems like he's tough, or was tough to
difficult to be around with.
Yeah,
right. And so you get, but if this thing that is safe and guided and is well known because those tribes know what they're doing. Oh, yeah. When you get that safe thing that is going to give you the ability to change, and I'm talking true dramatic change and pivot in character to being the type of person that is, more of a contribution to society than a distraction. And that's the distinction that I'll make. Right. I can't say anything against that.
Absolutely not.
He didn't hurt anybody. He didn't hurt himself.
His wife's name also now is Blue Earth. Not a joke. Aaron Rodgers. Okay, it's not his wife. It's his girlfriend. Her name is Blue Earth. She's a psychic. She's a psychic healer and yoga expert. Blue Earth. I just love that name. I just love that fucking name. Blue. It's BLU, not BLUE. Blue Earth. Fantastic stuff. It's true story.
Hold on.
Blue Earth.
I love that he's turning into a hippie, but with that wife beater on, he looks like the hippie that smacks his wife when the cucumbers don't grow in right.
Meatloaf again. just drinking fucking Busch Light bottles.
It's better for the environment. No, it's not.
Drink them and ice, throw them in a big pile out there. Guys, but that's not everybody from Nebraska, okay? It's only like
90%.
78%. 81. I'm right in there, Tone. Boom, just crush it on my head. I'm just playing down to the competition, bro. Aaron Rodgers, though, best arm. I would love anybody to debate me on this. Aaron Rodgers has the best throwing arm that of any quarterback that's ever played. He's the GOAT of like throwing the football. Of throwing a football.
Yeah.
Who are people going to come at me with? Dan Marino. I'll get Dan Marino, John Elway, probably.
Montana would probably come up.
Montana's got the accuracy, but I'm talking like total package.
And that's the thing, total package. It's him because like and Mahomes, if he finds his groove and actually gets some consistency with his results, he will be up there. He's not yet though.
Only guy I would put on Rodgers even stratosphere level as far as that goes. Like, well, just up there with him. Like, I'm like, I'll take arguments about that. Is Patrick Mahomes. And that's because
son. there's already some development, like in the way that he has developed. I think is why he has been able to, because those Aaron Rodgers comparisons came out of college, like they were already there when he was coming out of college, but it really like I could kind of see it just because of the instinct with certain things, the way he rolls out.
Tony, you know who he got the biggest comparison to besides Rodgers, though, right? Our personal friend of the show, Jay Cutler.
Oh, that's right. I'd forgotten about.
He got a lot because he does Cutler shit all the time. The hips. He's always got like his hip out and like
little boxes. Like we're just really stoned. That's all it is.
Yes, it's deterrent for the redness of my eyes. It look like a constant red picture in those digital cameras. No, but go ahead. Yeah, best thrower of the football of all time, Aaron Rodgers. Somebody fucking argue with me about it.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing, and I think that's one of the things that's made it difficult for his struggles. You know, the struggles that he's had in the public sphere, because he is such a remarkable and unique talent for what he brings to the game of football, and so you know, in the physical superiority to be able to do what he does. In such a unique way, it's not something that you see very commonly. And so to see him have these struggles where, you know, he's almost 38, 39?
I think he's 38.
I think he's 38. No kids.
No.
You know, and I mean, Brady's at least are preteens. You know, so majority of their teen years he'll get, you know, he'll be home for and you know, watching him actually really grow up. You know, in those adolescent years, Aaron Rodgers is going to be an old man, like retirement for normal people age when his kids are graduating high school.
Right. Yeah. I mean, around, well, 10 years early, but yes, older for sure. If that's even something, I mean.
Well, I mean, think about it like this. Let's say he has, because he's 38. So right now, that's 56, 57 when his first kid retires, if he has them, if they're already pregnant,
graduates.
You know, if Blue Earth
is already crapping on an island,
if Blue Earth is already gestating, then you know That's
inseminated. Tony. Inseminated.
Don't make this weird.
Don't stop making this weird. That's what it's called, guys.
Yes. Real story. These are actually prescription Oakleys. I have wanted a pair of prescription Oakleys for over a decade.
Little Boxes probably doesn't like my glasses though. This sucks.
Because
Tony, why are you the popular
Calm down,
one?
Elwood Blues. Calm down, Elwood Blues.
Why are you the popular one? They look kind of like his picture. They look like Walter White down there in the corner.
Your glasses actually have a similar thing. But no, like these, I just got these at LensCrafters. I've wanted a pair of Oakleys since I was a kid, just one time, and so I spent a god awful amount on these glasses so that I could have prescription lenses. Because since I wear glasses, the only way I'm wearing Oakleys is if I get prescription lenses.
Right. Hey, Oakleys used to be the currency of the young street peddling kids.
Yes.
In my hometown, it was always like somebody had a pair of Oakleys. It was like they had like a safe. It was like so much. Those things are worth so much money, bro. And they were always like scratched up, shitty Oakleys that like weren't worth any money anymore. It's like, dude, those Oakleys are worth like $120, and that was like a lot of money. There's just kids. If you had 3 or 4 pairs of Oakleys, bro.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you how much I really paid for these glasses and why it took me so long to be able to get them, because I did have to save up to get these. Go ahead. Probably 4, like in the 4s. 3 or 4s, high 3s, 4s, 6s, $540. Jeez. Yeah, I was gonna say like $450. Yeah, $540, because the frames by themselves were $200. These actually aren't my glasses, so I don't even know how much. Somebody paid quite a bit of money for them. Kind of nice. They fell off the back of a truck. They fell off the back of a truck. But yes, I legitimately love these glasses. These are my street peddler kid currency, man. You could fucking you could go run the streets if you were like 10 right now, just like at the swimming pool. I have to keep these. I'm always worried about my son trying to steal these glasses because he's in middle school right now, and I don't need him getting any girls pregnant at that age. You know what I mean? I mean, those are equivalent to that Babe Ruth baseball and Sandlot. It's like what they are. They're that to the young kid, man. It's currency. You could trade a bunch of cards for that. A bunch of trading cards. Some guy's got in his pocket. I get so many Pokemon cards for these. So many Pokemon cards that are just abused. Do not even know how many Pokemon cards I could get for these. One that's like folded up into an actual like 4 square. Like it's like folded all the way down. Like, dude, it's a Charizard. It's a Charizard. And they're like, it's folded into 4 pieces. That's not going to affect the value, right? No, it totally. Yes. There's a piece falling off of it. You're not going to get any money for that. Yes. All right, man. The king of the Sultan of SWAT. The Sultan of SWAT. The king of Crash. The Great Bambino's got to be probably the best one, though, right? I like the Sultan of SWAT. I like what other ones are there? Honestly, I'm a big fan of Sultan of SWAT. The Great Hambino. Sultan of SWAT, King of Crash. Which that was pretty good. The Colossus of Clout. That's Titan of Terror was, I think, another one. You can tell it was the 20s with their word usage of clout. People don't even know what that means. The Colossus of Clout. People are like, "What is that? A rhyme? What is a riddle?" Like if you called somebody the Colossus of Clout now, let's call Aaron Judge the Colossus of Clout. Anybody under the age of 25 has no idea what that means. I'm just gonna start dubbing him the second Colossus of Clout, and people are gonna be like, "What?" Okay, so this is a good question. Little Box is asking a good question. What do you think, Dan? Is The Sandlot the best baseball movie of all time? No, it's Field of Dreams, bro. I've never seen Field of Dreams. Shut the fuck up. Probably Field of Dreams, though, right? No, I'm just kidding. Probably. I mean, I think that's the first baseball movie we all see as kids. 42 was okay. That was a great movie, but I think there is I think 42. I can't. The reason that I don't put 42 up there is not because I don't think the story is good. The reason that I don't put 42 up there is because, and maybe there are like people of color may feel differently about this than we do, but like for me, like I appreciate the story of Jackie Robinson, but I feel so much more of a connection with The Sandlot because of my experiences as a kid. And, you and I, we both still grew up in that age where that type of shit still happened. Like we just played baseball all summer. Like that's what we did.
100%.
Or football or what,
it's a timepiece for sure.
Right. It's a timepiece. And so I think it's for our generation, it's easier to connect to.
Hey, look at this shit. Or is he gonna,
but Moneyball and
Moneyball's so fucking, I forgot about Moneyball. That's my favorite.
Moneyball's a good one. Moneyball is definitely one of the best. But I'm not gonna lie, my two favorite baseball movies, like and honestly, I love Field of Dreams, but it's not. It's A League of Their Own.
Okay. Not technically baseball. If he wants to get real technical about it, it's softball.
That's baseball. They were using.
Oh, they do play baseball in that, don't they?
Yeah, they use baseball.
There's no crying in baseball. That makes sense.
Yeah, A League of Their Own.
Great movie, regardless.
And Major League.
See, I'm just forgetting about a bunch of them because I mean, Major League's legendary.
So let's do this. Let me tell you what. This is horribly unprofessional, but I don't give a fuck.
Babe Ruth's lesser known nicknames: the Baron of Blast, the Duke of Demolish, the Khan of So Long.
Okay.
The Shah of Awe.
Baseball movies. Rookie of the Year is obviously iconic. Thomas Ian Nichols. Moneyball, 42, Trouble with the Curve. Perfect Game was a good one. Benchwarmers is I think Benchwarmers does not get enough credit as a baseball movie, but
it doesn't.
The presence of Rob Snyder kind of it makes it worse.
I don't want to get real technical about it, but like if they're comedies about baseball, it's got to put them in like their own thing though, right? Because they're comedies and they're about baseball. We're talking about like real baseball movies, I think is maybe what he was asking. I don't really know.
Yeah, and that's why that one, The Rookie, was another great one because that was
Costner.
No, that wasn't. Was that Costner?
Yeah. Oh no. For the Love of the Game is Costner. Sorry, I saw his picture.
Yeah, For the Love of the Game is Costner. Great movie. That is another great baseball movie, though.
Costner likes black girls.
I heard that. I thought that was interesting.
What's her name? Is that now? It was just like the one.
Oh my god! I can't believe I forgot about this movie. Hardball. Keanu Reeves.
Never seen it.
Great movies. That one I definitely recommend.
Not a good start for your GOAT baseball movie, Tony. He just saw see people don't see movies, Tony, all the time. Stop making fun of me for it.
No, but that's the thing is like I'm not making fun of you on that one.
I know you're not. I'm just
that is a lesser known baseball movie, but it's so damn good.
I'm talking about Field of Dreams.
Really is. Oh, Field of Dreams. No, I'm going to judge the fuck out of you for not seeing that because that Field of Dreams is just in general one of the greatest sports movies of all time.
I think I'm probably going to watch it tonight.
Oh, here you go. Disney Channel original movie, baseball movie that was fantastic. If you have Disney Plus, I know it's on there because I've actually gone back and watched it as an adult. Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off. Did you ever watch that one? You remember that one?
Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off. No, I've never even heard of that.
It was a Disney Channel original movie. Remember when we were younger?
She's heard of it.
Like preteen, mid-teen, preteens and teens. Disney Channel was churning out like a movie a month that was made for TV.
Nothing.
There was a string. There was a string of movies. There was like a year where every single movie they dropped was gold, and Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off was one of them. It's a kid playing Little League that's really good, looking at going, already has pro prospects watching him, but he just wants to be a cook.
Wow.
It's legit interesting true story.
It's like the story of my life, Tony. Just wanted to be
I think Kevin Costner is overrated.
That's fair. He's very stoic. He doesn't have a whole lot of different things going on. Like
there's not a lot of range with.
He's very brooding.
Yeah,
he broods a lot, which is it's essential. Look at The Rock. Rock's made a career on brooding.
Well, but I mean, like you look at Costner, brooding, Batman,
right? To play that one part, the newer part. Yeah, dude, that's perfect. That's perfect. I like it. And he's got the stoic thing is perfect too. I don't know how Batman was supposed to be played though. I really don't. Like I've heard a lot of different stories because there a bunch of different ones.
Yeah, I mean, of course, just like comic books, like they do different universes with that character, so there's some differences in personality.
Right.
But
Keaton was awesome.
It's with Bruce Wayne was definitely like he actually amplified the billionaire playboy through most of the iterations that I'm aware of. Bruce Wayne amplified the billionaire playboy philanthropist, like what we see Christian Bale saying in The Dark Knight,
to throw him off the scent.
To throw him off the scent of who he really was.
Yes.
Whereas when he was Batman, that's when the brooding came out and stuff like that. So if you have that brooding approach as Bruce Wayne, it takes away from the character.
100%. Because like I could see Christian Bale being Batman in real life. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it wouldn't surprise me that much in those movies, in the Nolan movies. I can like see
with the way that he portrayed. Yeah, that's fair.
Which is what he's not going for. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's what he's trying to. And like,
if Costner isn't a Western flick, I won't watch it. No, that's valid. Westerns, that's brooding. Definitely right up his alley. Yeah,
smoldering brood. Yep. But I couldn't see. Like I can't think of his name now. I just Costner. Said it. No, the guy who originally played Batman, but not in the movies.
Adam West.
In the movies, the first one that I just said out
loud. Clooney. Oh, Christian Bale.
No, your favorite.
Oh,
see, we can't think of his name. I just said it, dude, like 2 minutes ago. No, Keaton, Michael Keaton.
Keaton, god damn it. How did I forget his name?
That's weird as fuck, dude, right?
Don't do
I think because I forgot it.
Don't
you forgot it. No, I think because I forgot it, you forgot it. Over the airwaves. No,
we have one brain cell. Sorry, guys. There's one brain cell that we share between. We actually send it back and forth through camera. That's why we do shows together. And unfortunately, it was in transition, so neither one of us could use it.
The signal has been bogged down a bit.
Yes. But yes, Keaton is my favorite Batman, by the way. But no, but yeah, I'm disappointed in Pete Rose. I'm happy for Aaron Rodgers.
That's the moral of the story tonight, guys.
Yeah.
2 hours. Go psychedelics. Go psychedelics and go Aaron Rodgers. The best thrower of the football of all time. I share Shannon's opinion.
Hey, Hot Potato Brain Cell Podcast. Maybe we should table that for a possible name change if we ever decide to rebrand.
Can we get a graphic that like goes in the middle and it's like and it's like the brain cell just like rotates in between the screen like the whole time,
bounces back and forth.
And whoever's talking, it just like goes towards them, and then like the other one just goes, yeah. Like I need an automated. Josie, work on it. Josie, be working on it. Use all of your energy to make that.
All of your energy and so graphic design skills.
If it just had like green things coming from it into our brains, that'd be great too. Like the Riddler from one of the Batman movies.
What was that? Batman Forever?
It was Forever, yeah. That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Just clicks it on his head.
Honestly, I love Forever because the Riddler and Tommy Lee Jones as an underappreciated Two-Face absolutely killed it. For sure.
His character intro is one of the best parts of cinema. It's so terrible, but it's so good at the same time. Where they intro him and it's the half room. It's like the chicken all white and it's all the white fluffy stuff, and then there's like the dark side, right? He's got lamb on one grill, and then he's got fucking like steak, like on a T-bone steak on the other grill, like charcoal style. He gets a cigarette and a cigar lit at the same time by the chicks, and one of them has a lighter and the other one has a blowtorch. Greatest like split scene of all time. Go watch it, guys. Batman Forever.
It's the kudos to the set design team for making that happen, because that was fucking talent. It really
comic-y
was.
And like the special effects in it too are really good with like the huge dudes who are like the statues. Like it's actually really good for like being that time. Like it's shitty compared to now, but like it's perfect. Like it's comic-y and like it's great comic-y kind of thing. Alicia Silverstone's in it.
Oh god. Oh, I just want to lick jelly off of her butt cheek one time.
Looks too much like my sister, Tony. Can't do it.
Well, see, now I want to lick jelly off your sister's butt.
Honestly, she does. Creeps me out. And there's a one part in the movie where she has like what appears to be some kind of something from like a motorcycle tire or something on her upper lip. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Looks like she has a mustache. Killed it for me. Whole thing. Killed the whole thing.
Oh my God, that's so great.
Can't do it.
I love it.
You know what scene I'm talking about too, don't you?
Yep, I do.
Where Robin catches her coming back from the motorcycle thing or whatever. Yep. Everybody's gonna go watch Batman Forever tonight. It's the best Batman.
Man. Absolutely. I mean, honestly, I
loved the
that was too. Batman and Robin. It wasn't Batman Forever.
Was Robin, yeah, because Batman Forever is just him. It's just Robin, huh?
Yeah, Batman Forever. No, because I don't even think
people dogged on Clooney they hated. He's the most hated Batman for sure in any of the movies, and I can see it.
Yeah,
you just think that's actually, we're like, George, that's actually how you are. I feel like that's actually how you are. You're just the billionaire part and not the superhero part. Watch Batman and Robin. George Clooney be himself, and then being Batman. Shout out to Sam Cassell before the show's over. Stop. Sam, come on the show. Sam Cassell. We're gonna get his. I would ask him some alien questions. Not gonna lie to you.
Of course you would.
Be like, Sam, when are you gonna let out to the public that you're from Grimordia or whatever the fuck, some weird planet? We can tell, bro. Your brain is huge. By the way, one of Reaper's nicknames.
Did you know that Alicia Silverstone was in 2 Aerosmith music videos?
Kind of.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch those videos because I didn't remember that, because I was looking at the IMDb because like I remembered her being in Clueless and Batman and Robin, but I couldn't remember if there was anything else that I'd really been drawn to with her other than the fact that it just like, because I guess she'd done like a couple of different small things, but I was looking and I saw in '93 she was in 2 Aerosmith music videos.
Isn't it Clueless that she's famous for?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought, because that's the only other thing I could really even like.
And she was in the Wonder Years as well. I think one or two episodes that she was in.
Blast from the Past. Have you seen that?
That's the other one, yeah.
She showed me that movie. It's actually quite good.
That movie's hilarious. That movie made me laugh a lot.
She always says the part where she's like, I don't fall in love with grown men who collect baseball cards, and he's like, yes, you do.
Okay,
remember that part?
So, listen to me. I'm about to show you what Little Box has just said, and you need to understand that I think this is somebody fucking with me, but I also think it's funny as hell. You ready for this?
Yes,
okay.
I'm always up for that.
This is going to sound very crazy, but I see lots of similarities to Aaron Rodgers and Davis Mills, the Texans QB. I've been watching a lot of highlight videos in preparation for fantasy, and it shocked me how good Mills is.
Bro, if that's not a troll, Little Boxes, if you're not trolling us right now, this is the craziest shit. This is crazy. This is crazy. He doesn't know, does he?
I
don't make the joke that much.
So, Little Boxes, for your thing. Last year, I actually was somewhat supportive of Davis Mills, neck man up and everything. But there is,
that's madness, dude. If you're not fucking trolling us,
yeah, that's
he doesn't. Nobody knows what we're talking about.
A special level of on crack for that one. I'm sorry, respectfully, but no.
If he doesn't know, that's crazy.
That is an absolute train wreck waiting to happen. So much of what quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes do is instinct, and Davis Mills has no instinct like that. There are pieces to Davis Mills' game that can be positive and why a team might look at him as a quarterback. As far as his, he does have some arm talent.
I've never even seen Davis Mills play.
I will give him that there is some arm talent there. But so much of what Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers and quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers, like Patrick Mahomes and so on, so much of what they do is instinct. Davis Mills does not have that instinct. He is not that guy. The Texans.
Little boxes. Can I guess where you're from? Are you from Houston? That sounds like a Houston answer. He's not trolling. Okay, dude, listen to this real quick. I sent Tony a card not too long ago because I made a joke forever, because on air one time, Tony said that he thought he said, I like Davis Mills. He watches Davis Mills and actually at some point evaluated him as being a pretty good quarterback. Okay. And I give him shit about it, dude, all the fucking time. I sent him he's pulling it out right now. I sent him a card of Davis Mills. Now, if he does or not, I sent him a card of Davis Mills with a sleeve on the front of it that said, I like Davis. Like, I like Davis Mills. ... I like Davis Mills. So I fuck with him all the time about Davis Mills. And you just put that shit. That's crazy, dude. That's nuts. That's really weird. I feel like you're trolling us still. That's how weird it is. I know that you're probably not really, but that's crazy that you would mention that and make that comparison. Because now I'm going to make fun of you, little boxes, for comparing Davis Mills to Aaron Rodgers. Ridiculous.
I can't find it, but okay. All right. So yeah, we've been running for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of nonsense in there.
Tell you what, little boxes, you join us next week on Thursday, and we will talk about this.
And I'll finish the Lincoln Christian story. It's 3 episodes now. We ended it. It's like, oh, you might get it next time. Nobody wants to hear it anyway, but I'm going to finish it. Anyway. You bet I'm going to finish it. Every second. You guys are going to listen.
Okay, but for those of you that are watching, thank you, little boxes. Will, I know you were on there earlier. I think I saw my mom in the chat earlier as well. Mom, thank you.
What?
Yeah, all the way
Will's
back.
Not watching anymore. Will's sleeping.
No, Will's asleep. Yeah. But thank you for those of you that joined us. We appreciate you. You can catch previous episodes on Spotify just by searching Sports Report Podcast, and catch Dan and I Monday Night Sports Report at 10 p.m. Eastern. We will be here next Thursday. This is our new night and time. Thursday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Sports Report channel. And then you can also join the Sports Report group on Facebook. I will be actually putting up a Sports Report page very, very soon so that we can start sharing reels from episodes and stuff like that. A lot of things in the work to get us more out there, man. I want to have 100 people on our viewing our show very, very soon. Please like and share our content. We appreciate the support. And again, thank you to Gunslinger Soap for sponsoring the episode. Remember, gunslingersoap.com. Sign up, get 15% off, and always free shipping over $30. Handmade soaps made without all the junk to pamper your skin. We appreciate their support. And Dan, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I was just going to say that, like, we actually moved it to the new date and time so that we could, like, do it earlier and not have to do all in the same night, right? And then we just basically packed an hour worth of nonsense into it. And we were like, hey, we're just going to make it as long as it was before. With the Sports Report and After Dark, we just combined them together again.
Well, we went hour and a half. We went almost 2 hours on Sports Report anyway. So it helps both shows actually go for a little bit more. Yeah.
I was just making a joke, Tony, but still.
No, it's honestly, it's better this way. It is nonsense.
No, it's good. I like it. It's a good format. First night went well. I feel like it went well.
I agree. All right. Thank you for those of you that have supported us. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week. You can reach out to us on Facebook if you would like. Go to the Sports Report group or Sports Report After Dark. We do have groups for both. Join us. We'd love to talk with you more. Thank you all for coming out. You guys have a great day.
Kiss from a rose from Seal. Batman forever, bro. Batman forever. Soundtrack was fucking unbelievable.